This conference will now be recorded.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we will approve the minutes from the July 3rd, 2025 meeting. Anybody have any corrections?
You need to do a secretary quiz before you approve.
Okay. Our secretary is gone, so we need to appoint.
Make a motion, TJ's our secretary for the day.
Second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, secretary.
Thank you.
Okay, now the minutes from the July 3rd meeting.
Approved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, and then the agenda, is there any corrections or additions to the agenda?
Just a second. You guys gotta remember she's in a different setting. So who motioned and seconded the minutes, please? Rick,
For what?
the minutes? And who? And TJ. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, we're used to it.
Yes. All right, so agenda, is that what you're on now?
Yep, is there any additions or corrections to that?
No.
So that was correct.
Approve the agenda.
Second. Reviewing, Wayland.
Thank you.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, conflicts of interest?
None here.
No.
I'm done.
Mr. Chairman? I may.
Oh, yeah, you wanted to say something?
So as you know, at each meeting of planning and zoning and then each county commission meeting, there's always this declaration of conflicts. And we discuss this from time to time, and today seemed like a good time. If I could just read the statute to you, just to remind everybody about what a conflict is, it'll be quick. And so I'm looking at SDCL 6-1-17. And I'm going to paraphrase the first part. So no county official may participate in discussing or vote on any issue in which the official has a conflict of interest. Each official shall decide if any potential conflict of interest requires such official to be disqualified from participating in discussion or voting. However, no such official may participate in discussing or vote on any issue if the following circumstances apply. The official has a direct pecuniary interest in the matter before the governing body, or at least 2/3 of the governing body, so you folks there, vote that an official does have an identifiable conflict of interest that should prohibit such individual or such official from voting on a specific matter. The statute adds, this is sort of interesting, I'll throw it in there, that if an official with a direct pecuniary interest participates in discussion or votes on a matter before the governing body, the legal sole remedy is to invalidate that official's vote. So it wouldn't invalidate the decision, it would invalidate that person's vote. So if there's any questions, let me know. But again, we cover this from time to time.
Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, does anyone have any conflicts today?
Nope. No.
Okay.
And then Bruce, do you want to go through that open
All of them
meetings
do,
thing? That was on the agenda.
Oh,
Beforehand, do you want to go through that?
I'll just quickly mention it. So the legislature passed a law that requires boards each year to have a discussion about Chapter 1-25 in state law governing open meetings. And so as of July 1st, that law went into effect. Again, this is something we talk about from time to time, but most recently the Attorney General's office produced a PowerPoint presentation covering rules governing open meetings, and I think that's in your packet. So we thought we would do that today, so that's been covered. And then thereafter, we would intend to do it at the first meeting of every year going forward, just like the county commission. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Nothing's really changed, just making sure that everybody's aware of those.
And you guys have a copy of this in your packets, so you can keep them. Anybody in the public that wants this is available under our agenda online.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
As everybody hopefully is aware, this is the Lawrence County Planning and Zoning Board. And we've had a request online to introduce ourselves so that everybody knows who we are. I think that's fair. So,
Eric Jennings on the Planning and Zoning Board. I'm also a county commissioner.
I'm Rick Tistel on the Planning and Zoning Board and a county commissioner.
Travis Shank, Chairman of the Planning and Zoning Board.
TJ Ewing, Planning and Zoning Board.
Secretary.
Mike Whalen, Planning and Zoning Board and Weed Board.
Tim Comer, Planning and Zoning Board.
And I think the question for people online was the county commissioners do act as the board of adjustment in our county. So you would also be, any county commissioner present, it's also going to be a board of adjustment.
Okay, public hearing for CUP 498 Larson Family and Kroll Inc. So our format for the public hearing is that we will open it up to the public. We'll first have a presentation from the applicant and from Amber, who will give us the information. I think you all have access to the packets too. If you don't, there's the new ones here at Amber, the extra ones.
I don't know. Don't see Amy yet. Has she gotten a hold of you first? So no,
Okay.
Amy hasn't come over, no.
There is packets available if anybody needs one. We're working on getting more copies too. So if you could share them, if somebody next to you doesn't have one that they want to see it. But so our format will be, we'll open it, we'll hear the presentation from the applicant and Amber, and then we'll open it to the public for comments. When you speak, first of all, please make sure that you signed in back there. And then when you speak, make sure you stand up and state your name and address. And we need that for the minutes so that Jesse can keep accurate minutes for the meeting. And just each time you stand up, just state your name and your address. If you forget, I'll mention it to you. I'm not mad at you. I'm just reminding you. So that, what's that?
I'll ask their names based on the list.
Okay, perfect. And then at the end of the public comment period, we'll close the public hearing and then we'll have discussion amongst the board. And we ask at that time that you please refrain from our discussion unless we ask you for information. At the end of this, we will make a recommendation to either approve or deny. Please keep in mind that our recommendation to approve or deny only deals with whether the application meets the standards of the ordinance. And then that recommendation goes to the county commission or the board of adjustments and it's made final from there. Okay, Amber?
Application wise, the staff report's been available for almost a week. I think we published it last Thursday. Nothing has changed. There's live links in here that always go to the direct thing. So if someone's online, they can go there. This is the digital copy, which is that thick black book. I don't know if you can grab it. That's that one. There's a couple of images of the property. There's their submission of proposed findings and facts, and then the opposition letters. Basically, every time we received one, they got dumped into that folder. So it was a live update. Every time we got one, it went in there. So this information is there. The applicant, Kroll Inc., is requesting a CUP for a small-scale sand, gravel, or rock industry. The operation will be located off Homestake Road. Boundary of the CUP is 101.63 acres, but the permit will allow 10 acres of disturbance at any time. If they want to move on to a different area, the original 10 acres needs to be reclaimed and so on, so you keep moving it. The nearest road would be the Homestake Road. The applicant did apply. This went through all of the definitions, what it is. And then basically this part here, we went through in detail when they submitted things, the regulations that they did meet. And then once you get to here, these are the items that were in that big thick document that they submitted. Those are all in there. This is word for word out of the ordinance. The socioeconomic impact study, I had a lot of question on that one. It's not required with a small scale. It's only required if the county commissioners request it. They can do that, but we're not in front of the county commission yet. The planning and zoning department cannot request that. The considerations is what the county commissioners and the board of adjustment would look at. And then we usually ask the planning and zoning board when a decision is made, you would look at these items. And that's also in the staff report. Bonding is just an additional thing in there. If the county commissioner or the board of adjustment would request that, then they can. But right now, this is planning and zoning. It's a recommending body only. The staff recommends approval of the CUP. They do meet the requirements set out in the ordinance. The rest of the discussion is why we have these public hearings. So we will have this one today, and then there'll be another one, depending on what happens today. It would be scheduled for August 26th. And it would be up at the new building is our intention. So it'll be up at the lodge building, up at that building there, in the room up there.
The
So,
Public Safety and Services Center, 50
Yeah.
Tatanka Drive.
Yep. The proposed conditions are in here. These are what the boards will look at, and they can either change them, edit them, have them go forward. We don't know yet at this point. These were brought forward from other like permits that we've issued in the board. So they're pretty much the same thing that we see on other ones. There's some different specific ones at the very bottom of it. Today is a public hearing. We'll go through everything. And then usually what we do after I talk, the applicant has a chance to visit. So Travis, unless you guys have specific questions for me, I personally don't have anything else to present.
Is anyone from the applicant here?
Yep, right here.
Go ahead.
I'm Ron Martian. I'm from 685 Government Valley Road, Wyoming. I'm the general manager for Kroll Incorporated. The application that.
We speak up a little bit. We can't hear you back here.
Thank you. The application that you have before you is basically the same one that you see and approved from you last time. The only difference
Cannot hear him.
in there
We
is-
cannot hear a word he's saying.
Speak up.
Thank you.
Turn around and face the public. Do we have a microphone someplace?
We do not. He can turn around and voice out, but the microphones are picking it up online, but there is no.
Maybe stand over here, Mr. Merchant.
Thank you.
Talk both ways.
So the only difference that is in the application is I'm proposing to local deliveries go down the hill to the east and north. Wyoming deliveries go back out to exit 2. The reason for that is going to be very hard for me to.
Still can't hear anything.
Very hard for me to, I can't write tickets. I can't keep people from going left on a county road. You guys can do that if you want, but I can't. I proposed to your county maintenance foreman that we would widen the road. If you guys can get adjacent landowners to widen an easement, we would do all the work. Asphalt the road up the hill to keep the dust down for the native village. The rest of it is pretty standard of what you've seen last time. You know, we're going to have a footprint of 10 acres to start with, but a scale up on top of the hill. The footprint will contain all our crushing equipment in there. We'll use best management practices to keep the dust down using water and screening by being in the hole itself to keep the dust down. Also, the same thing with keeping noise down. Noise levels that we've had, MSHA has been to all of our sites. They've checked the noise levels. They don't require us to have earmuffs for our employees. So the noise levels when they're out will just be nuisance levels 500 feet out. Nothing damaging. The silica, we've had our men tested by MSHA again. They had to wear monitors that kept track of the silica exposure. None of our men were deemed needing to wear masks or anything else for silica exposure. So that is something you might hear today with concerns. Dust levels, you know, whatever the county deems that we have to do to get a road use agreement, we know we're going to have to sign a road use agreement with them. I'm just throwing out there the original paving up the road. That's maybe beneficial to you if it's something you so choose. So as we progress the pit, I know so when we want to expand the pit, and we acknowledge that we have to reclaim the pit as we go, so that we only have 10 acres open at any one time. And the reclamation is going to be based upon whatever the Larson family wants to have reclaimed, what kind of seed mix, how the contours are laid out is going to be up to them. So normal operating hours, we have proposed is 6 in the morning to 6 at night. Typically, our crushing guys crush from 7 to 5. They have a fueling, greasing before and after. Anything done after 6 o'clock, there may be times when you have to do work on the equipment because it's broken down, trying to get it up for the next day. Anticipate running, so the crusher will not be in there all year. The crushing, typically we get about 4 to 6,000 ton a day is what the crusher will crush. So we would like to be in there, if everybody approves it, be in there September, October. And then get 200,000 ton done before the end of the year, another 200,000 ton beginning of next year, and then be out of there for a year or two. We just have the stockpile sitting up there. And then we'd have a loader operator and a scale person taking care of local deliveries. Crusher's gone. So, is there any questions from the board?
I just have one point of clarification. I'm looking at the appendix 5, page 7 on the figure. It then identifies the yellow area as a process area. You just define what you mean by process area there?
So the process area is where we crush.
Crush and screen.
Yep, crush and screen.
As you reclaim, is that just an acre per acre? As you expand an acre, you reclaim an acre, or?
Yeah, what we end up, crushing spread is pretty big. So we go into the blast, and then we crush, go into the same site. So we disturb the full 10 acres, and we would blast and get a high wall started. And then if we wanted to blast any more, then we'd have to contour the stuff. So we'd only have 10 acres open. It's not reclaimed at any one time.
Right.
So,
Last time we came forward, you on the tour, we were over on the west end of it, and it was about, the ground was about 30 feet, which is topsoil, maybe 40 feet below the road surface. Is that going to happen again this year?
yes.
It stays at that level and as you walk through it.
Yeah, and you know that, so the Minnetonka limestone is kind of a rolling, when God laid it in kind of rolls. So what you'll do is you'll kind of follow it. It seems like the Minnetonka limestone there is very close to the surface. So you'll be coming up as you follow it up to get the full surface, and you go full depth. So you shouldn't see hardly, you might see the top of the conveyors in the hole, top of the piles in the hole, but you wouldn't see very much of it. And what we would try to do is screen, run a berm of overburdened topsoil along the 500 acre boundary that we're allowed to go butt up against to kind of screen visual and also protect, keep the dust down and also the hearing, because it kind of screens the hearing a little bit. So that's what we would try to do.
So last time only the scale on the scale house or up on the upper part. Everything else is down below and keep improving the piles.
Yes, yes.
So you mentioned that this crushing would all take place in the fall and the early winter. When would the screening operations be taking place? Would they be all the time or only when they're crushing?
So the crushing screening happens all at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once they leave, then all you have is loading out of the piles into the trucks and scaling.
So like March to September, there's going to be just a loader and a scaler.
Yes. At this point, it depends on how production goes.
Yeah.
If it's a wet summer, if it rains a lot, it's never conducive to crushing at that time because the screen's blind over, and so then your production's longer. So then right now for us, for this first set, it will be late fall, winter, early spring. We're out of there.
Can you clarify the offer to pave the road a little bit more too?
Yeah, so down on the north end, or I'm not very good, I'll be honest with you, but down coming off on the northeast, where you come up the hill, the side hill, where it turns to dirt, and then it's really
Real narrow through.
real narrow. I asked the road bridge guy if he'd entertain the idea of widening those areas, getting an easement for us. We go in and we widen it, your standards, and pave asphalt up the top of the hill.
So you'd actually pave the road from where the pavement ends?
Yes.
Up to the entrance to the scale?
pretty close. I don't know if I want to go all the way to the scale, but for sure up on top of the hill.
Past the narrow spots.
Yes. Yeah. We break out up on top.
Any other questions? Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I thank you for your consideration and for your time and appreciate it.
We believe that Cameron, you guys wanted to speak, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, go ahead.
Cameron Larson, 10437 Homestake Road, and I am the landowner. The Larson family ranch has been in the family 5 generations as a continuous ranch, preserving the land for ag use. And that's my intention, is to keep it as ag for as long as I can. Gravel quarries are approved to operate on ag land. This is why I'm here applying for this conditional use permit. The 2 existing ranches, one to the east and one to the west, are in support of this quarry. Homestake Mining built the Homestake Road at least 70 years ago or more. And it is designed for truck traffic. I think Brian's proposal on paving and widening those 2 cut areas would be beneficial for the county. Limestone rock is a needed material for concrete and asphalt, gravel roads. And I think everybody in this room has probably used this product. And with the growth of Lawrence County, there is a demand for this product. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else from the applicant?
I'm Cameron's daughter, Savannah Larson Dirks. My address is also 10437 Homestake Road. I'm here to express my support for the proposed gravel pit project and to address both concerns that I've heard and the opportunities that I see. One concern that's come up repeatedly is dust. The good news is that it's not an unknown problem, and there are effective enforceable solutions that are absolutely required and regulated, including state regulations and mining laws that Kroll strictly follows. Now, I'd also like to address why placing the gravel pit on agricultural land actually makes sense when done thoughtfully. First, this land, as my father said, is for agriculture use, and he intends to keep it that way, as do I. Gravel pits are for agriculture use. The location is in a small canyon, making it ideal for extraction with minimal site disturbance. Second, sourcing gravel locally means saving on transportation costs, reducing heavy truck traffic from distant suppliers, and lowering carbon emissions. That's a win for our air, our roads, and our local tax base. Third, gravel extraction is temporary, and once the pit is reclaimed, the land can often be returned to productive use and even improved. Reclaimed pits support crops, grazing, and can even be converted into ponds for irrigation or livestock. Lastly, this location allows ranchers and citizens nearby to benefit directly from reduced aggregate costs for driveways, foundations, culverts, fencing, and even drainage improvements. That's a real practical advantage for all of us. In summary, it's about making smart temporary use of the land to support long-term needs of our surrounding community. We have an opportunity here to move forward with a project that provides local jobs, revenue, infrastructure support, and does so with respect for the land and the people who work and enjoy recreation nearby, as well as live around us. I respectfully ask that you consider this gravel pit proposal. With strong dust control standards, clear oversight, and a firm commitment to reclamation, done right, this can be a win for all of us in this area. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration.
Thank you.
I'm trying to find the sign-in sheet. It's over here now. Okay.
Anything else from the applicant?
Yes. She's trying to get us. Sorry.
Good afternoon.
Okay, just a second. I'm gonna call you if you're gonna speak in favor. We'll go down the list.
Are you with the applicant?
Are you with the applicant? Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Deborah Hayes. My address is 10378 Upper Redwater Road in Spearfish. Now, I live real close to the Wyoming border, and I live approximately a mile away from the Glacier Quarry, gravel quarry. Now, I've lived there for 5 years, and if anybody else knows me or my house, I live by the old stone barn, the Welsh's barn. When we first moved in, we were unknown to be living so close to a quarry. We live on a gravel road. The gravel road has been there since the beginning of time, since the beginning of Lawrence County. We do not have as much dirt or gravel or rocks thrown up in a matter of a day from the quarry. Where we get the dirt and the gravel is from speeders. I come to you I support this quarry more than anything in the world because having a new house, and I do want paved roads. But let's get realistic. We don't have the right to tell these people what they can do with their property and what they can't, as long as they keep it within the laws of the county and with the policies. Other than that, I would be ashamed if my neighbor came to me and told me that they would not want me to do something to my property. That to me is an insult. After 5 generations, they have been there for 5 generations. How many of us can say that you've had the property for 5 generations? I don't think there's only one other place that I know of, and that's Brady Ranch, that can say 5 generations. And they need to kind of evolve a little bit to grow. They need to be able to nurture for their generations to come. Their daughter, Savannah, she has a little one. They want to continue this as Ave grass. They want the cattle. They want the haying. And I would be really let down by the zoning commission if you did not approve this. This would be really a blatant disrespect for this family. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll open it up to the public now, and the way we'll do this today is we'll go with the live people that are here first, and then we'll enter into record all the letters that we've got. We're not going to read through them, but we'll just acknowledge that we've received them. We did receive all the letters that we had until noon today. We've all had the opportunity to read all those letters. Anything that came after noon today, we have not read. And then after we're done with that, we will go to the online people and give them an opportunity to speak. Again, when you're called on in the sign-up sheet, please stand up, state your name and your address. And then if you have the same point that somebody else has already made, feel completely comfortable just saying that you agree with them and sitting down. That's completely fine.
I'll read the list first. So, like I said, up until noon, I checked my email right when this meeting started. It didn't look like I had received anything else past 12 o'clock today. So, Barb Running, Bonnie Gebhardt, Bruce Wing, Cheryl, is it Pilates? I'm not sure exactly how to say that, but Cindy Upchurch, Eric Van Horn, Gerald Marsland, Greg Mosel, Janelle Powell, Kristen Wing, Liz Hardy Fayer, Matthew Hensley, Naomi Merchant, Pat Rogie, Sabrina Heredia, Shelby Lund, Steve Beck, Tim and Christy Pert, Todd Akes, William and Sandra Johnson, Kristen Matsuda, and Joseph and Becky Lowell all sent letters in opposition, and the board received those before the meeting started today. And then Rob, Eddie, and family sent a letter of support, and those were all put in the record. So we'll just put those on the list of being in the record. That's what we had as of noon today. And then so the first person on the list for today was Naomi Merchant. There she is. I know I saw her. And remember that you guys are talking to the board, not to the audience.
Naomi Merchant, 19941 Gobbler Road in Spearfish. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to voice my opinion on the reapplication of the Larson Kroll Gravel Pit Cup. For the record, I am staunchly opposed to Larson's third attempt for a gravel pit. But first, let me start off by saying that I'm really surprised that this meeting wasn't rescheduled to avoid Sturgis Rally Week. I know numerous Lawrence County residents who wanted to attend, but they were concerned about lack of parking, which there certainly is, and wanting to avoid crowds due to safety and potentially catching and friction contagion. This is a contentious subject, and attendance to object to this cup, I think, should have been anticipated and planned accordingly. As we sit here, I can hear the rumbling of the motorcycles, which I think further impedes us being able to hear each other's opinions. Secondly, is the planning and zoning communicating to CUP applicants about the outstanding litigation at the South Dakota Supreme Court challenging ordinance 2405. If not, is Lawrence County perhaps subject to litigation which would cost taxpayers unnecessary legal expenses? I say this because of an article in the Rapid City Journal in June of 2016 where Kroll sued Pennington County for $10 million in damages for revoking a construction permit, arguing that the county cannot stop them from operating mining activities at the quarry. This particular gravel pit location has a history of citizen opposition. On February 1st, 2001, the Lawrence County Planning and Zoning held a public hearing for CUP number 269, Larson Fisher Sand and Gravel Company. It was withdrawn on May 3rd, 2001 at a Planning and Zoning regular meeting due to strong public disapproval. On 5/4/23, another public hearing for CUP 487, Larson Kroll, was brought forth, and this CUP was also withdrawn sometime between October 23rd, when an update to the CUP was presented, and 12/19/23, when another gravel pit, CUP 484, was defeated in a special election. So a May 11 letter from Barbara Reynolds to the Lawrence County Commissioners, she states that she personally asked Cameron Larson why he withdrew his quarry application, and he replied he was giving it a while to cool off. Well, since then, Ordinance 2405 was approved to transfer the approval of CUPs from the Board of Commissioners to the Board of Adjustment, consisting of the exact same people. Appeals to decisions made by the Board of Adjustment have to go to the district court at the expense of citizens, while the Board of Adjustment has unlimited use of taxpayer money. So here we are again with a third CUP by Larson for a gravel pit being submitted while we wait for a decision by the South Dakota Supreme Court on the legality of Ordinance 2405, again at citizens' expense. And there's more history about gravel pits in our county. In August 30, 2016, CUP 436, Centennial Valley along Crook City Road went for a special election, and that was voted down. Clearly, citizens didn't want gravel pits near residential areas then, and we certainly do not want them now. I won't go into all the known associated health, safety, and aesthetic risks, because that information was ignored in the past public hearings, as evidenced by pre-written approval statements read right after the Board of Commissioners voted. In the likely event this CUP is approved, is there a specific county employee who will conduct investigations into CUP violation complaints in a timely manner? Without someone responsible to enforce conditions as set forth in the proposal, how will accountability be handled? In a July 8, 2023 article in the Black Hills Pioneer, Bob Ewing said, quote, "I understand people's concerns, but as we just stated, we've got a lot of stipulations and rules and conditions on these pits. And if they don't follow it, they'll be shut down." However, the amended ordinance section under suspension or revocation of conditional use permit, it says the county planning director shall report to the Board of Adjustment, landowner, and operator if at any time the term, conditions, or requirements of the CUP have not been complied with. However, below that section, it says the Board of Adjustment may revoke the CUP for failure to comply. So you have to go by what's in the ordinance. So what people say off the record or to a reporter means nothing. It has to be according to law. And then equally concerning, under the annual review, the Board of Adjustment may, at its discretion, require of the operator a written annual report, on-site review, or attendance at a Board of Adjustment on each anniversary date of the approval of the CUP. And then under the annual report section, the Board of Adjustment may, at its discretion, require of the operator a written annual report on each anniversary date of the approval of the CUP. The annual report shall update the Board of Adjustment on the operator's compliance with the terms, requirements, and conditions stipulated in the approval of the CUP. Therefore, it appears as though citizens who are going to be most affected by this CUP approval will not be protected, because nothing in here is holding the owner or the operator to provide the reports that we feel would be necessary to ensure the safety of our land and our families. Thank you.
Okay, the next one I have is Terry Powell.
Sign, no.
Okay. The next one is Kristen, is it Matsuda? Is that how you say that? Do you want to say anything different than what your letter had? Sure. If you want to, you can come on up.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this hearing. My name is Kristen Matsuda. My address is 3623 Dayspring Lane in Spearfish. Can everybody hear me? I am opposed to this project, number one. Number two, I don't know what the recording mechanism is for this hearing, but I was in the back and I could not hear at least the first 30 to 45 seconds of what the applicant said. I can tell you that when I did hear widen the road, my ears really went, I have no idea what was discussed with respect to that. And I would never complain about something without offering a solution. So for example, like the mic that's in the corner up there, maybe in a future hearing, if we could have that, because I would have loved to know what he meant when he was talking about widening the road. As I said, I'm opposed to the project. I did hear somebody on behalf of the applicant talk today about private property rights, and I'm a firm believer in private property rights. However, when the use and enjoyment of private property rights infringes upon the use and enjoyment of many other people's private property rights, that is the exact reason why we have elected officials in government to deal with this issue. And that's why I'm here to voice my opposition. Last but not least, I am gonna just be perfectly honest with you guys. I, as a layperson, when I hear ag use in 2025, the concept of a gravel pit is the furthest thing from my mind. And thank you for your time. I yield the balance of whatever time I might have to Kristen Wing. Thank you.
The next person,
Is it Mitchell? Lynn?
Yeah. Hold that for me, please. My name's Len Mitchell. I live at 20012 Cody Court here in Spearfish. I couldn't hear everything he was saying, but what my understanding is you're gonna crush a great big pile, right? Okay, so you're gonna water that, keep the dust down the best you can, right? So you got 6 to 6, you're working 10 hours a day, you got 14 hours a day that there's nothing on that. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people are concerned about is the dust. They don't want this to look like Rapid City down there when you get a big wind. We get 60, 70 mile an hour winds over there. So this isn't just gonna be a deal where they're able just to spray some water on it and that's it for their work time. And I agree with a lot of what these other people said. I'm not against the landowner making money, but this is going to affect a lot of other people in different ways. So I think you got to look at this in a little different scope than just, this is just directly for the landowner and that's it. So I'm opposed to it.
Thank you.
thank you. Number 5 and 6 was Deborah Hayes and Savannah. You guys already spoke, so I'm gonna skip over you. Lynn, did you want to? Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Lynn Larson. I live at 727 East Federal Street in Spearfish, South Dakota. I am here today to express my support of this gravel quarry. I know a lot of the things that my daughter and Cameron have already said. I want to reiterate. Of course, we've already heard that this quarry is considered an acceptable use of land that is zoned agricultural, and this quarry will be on private property that is zoned agricultural. And I want to, of course, express that we do protect landowner rights. I know the previous woman that was up here said that it could infringe on her personal property, but she did not go into any details about how that would infringe on her personal property. We know this is going to be in a canyon, so she's not, I don't know how this is going to infringe on her personal property, and this is going to be on their personal property. This is a temporary quarry. It's not going to be something that's going to be going on for years and years and years and years. It's only going to be 3 months or so out of the year. And there are 33 conditions that have been set forth to ensure a safe and clean environment. I think we should just support landowner rights, support this quarry, and keep this high demand product local. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Next would be Neil Ingesar.
Hi guys, I'm Neil Ingesar, 20087 Bench Lane, right up there by the quarry. I got a couple things. You guys, Kroll keeps saying, oh, it's gonna be a small pit, 200,000. Oh, Spearfish needs it. That ain't what they're doing it for. Kroll's gonna haul it right straight to Gillette, right straight to Wright, Wyoming, all that stuff. That's where it's gonna go. They keep trying to say, oh, this is a small scale deal. 200,000 to fall, 200,000 after the first. Get real. Spearfish has got all these pits around here. You guys can see them. You head towards Sundance and count how many pits are out there that we're already using. This is not what our community needs. Secondly, Cameron wants to say that the landowners all agree. Well, the landowners, Richard Sleep next to him, yeah, he agrees, because eventually it might go on to him. He might get some money off it too. So there's more to this deal than it's not. And then we turned down one. The people voted down the one across the ravine from where this one's going. But we're going to approve this one. I mean, you guys are here to do what's best for the people, and the people don't want it. And our community don't need it. There's plenty of pits out further. And so I think you guys need to look at the whole picture. They can say what they want. Go look at the other pits and see how they are. 200 acres, 500 acres, 200,000 ton. No way. We do not need it this close to town. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
I see there's a couple on here that are here for plats later, so I'm gonna skip over you, but Karen Turgeon.
And Amber, the staff reports, extra ones are available back there on the table, if anybody's interested.
Hi, I'm Karen Turgeon. I'm a former teacher in Spearfish, and I have 1,000 students out in the community. Very proud of them. I enjoy the Larson family, always have, and I do support landowner rights. We have worked hard, however, to bring this to a halt. With the petition drives that we've done, we've been very proud of the hard work in the community. And as I went door to door to talk to people, they were very much in favor of the clean environment for their families. I was so impressed with the young families and how they talked about the freedom that they had and why they moved to this community. And I was just really proud to be a part of Spearfish. We have on that northwest corner the most horrendous winds. I live at Wild Turkey Estates, and it comes right across from Crow Peak, right across onto us. It is a northwest prevailing wind. Sure, once in a while you get a southern wind, once in a while you get an east wind with a low. But for prevailing, we get the dust already. And it's a lot from the gravel roads and just nature. I also lived on a rifle pit road in the edge of Wyoming next to the Kroll gravel pit. I was about 4 miles on the road and maybe 3.5 or 2 cross country. I can't tell you how many times I called Sheridan, Wyoming to say your dust is just out of control at your gravel pit. But you know what? It takes a couple hours to get over here, doesn't it, from Sheridan, Wyoming? So maybe by that time it's cleared up. But I was not pleased with the reaction of the Crowell people. And if you ever have driven by on your way to Sundance, you've seen the dust line. I'm pleased to hear that it's a more limited operation, but even 10 acres disturbed, a couple 100,000 ton is a lot of gravel. So I really do hope you will listen to the people in Lawrence County. I've known almost all of you for my whole life, and I've respected each one of you. But I do think that in the past, there hasn't been enough listening. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Les, did you want to speak?
Les Sturgeon, 19963 Marion Route, Turkey, South Dakota. And we lived on Rifle Pit Road for a long time and watched the Crow Pit develop. And anybody would like, I've got about a 3-inch folder of pictures that's been taken over the past years of all the pollution. I've got letters from the governor and everybody else that all the pollution and calls that you received. But further time, I would like to say on the Orange County Zoning Board ordinance, it says the county commissioners enacted zoning ordinance to provide for the elements of support, promote public health and safety. Now, can all of you make a list of all the health elements we're going to gain by this quarry? And the safety, because the county road is not up to specs. Now I'm going to read one more thing, and since you're the only one here, Eric, I'll read you. Pioneer time to interviewing Eric Jensen. Respect the culture of the current residents. Putting that quarry there is not respecting the people, as we well know because of the referendum passed and everything we're going. That is not respecting. So I would hope you give consideration to the people themselves.
Thank you.
Kevin Farmer?
Hi, I'm Kevin Farmer. I live at 11794 Crooksea Road, Waywood. In regards to exhibit 1, I guess I believe it is, where it shows the map top of the quarry location. As someone briefly stated here earlier, I find it highly ironic that there's no conflict of interest, I should say, when we have 2 county commissioners, Richard Sleep and Robert Ewing, that almost border 50% of this property. Also, the current mining operation that was deferred to a referendum, which is still under review by the South Dakota Supreme Court. That property also borders this property, which could be an additional part of this gravel quarry in the future. Also, in relationship to that, there's a little bit of Game Fish and Parks Department property. And then we have the Owell property, which is the only other property surrounding this gravel pit. And again, as someone noted, this is directly located northwest of the city of Spearfish. So with a prevailing wind, the bulk of northwest winds during crushing periods stated will be coming directly at the city of Spearfish. Not to mention the outlying subdevelopments, which are up on top of Crow Peak Bench, which is, you could call it the Cedarberry Edition, the Turkey Ridge Edition. And as the crow flies up there, I'm not sure if we're 1.5 miles away from those subdivisions. Those people will be directly affected, irregardless of efforts to control dust, which whenever someone has a complaint about that, you guys don't do anything about it. The county commissioners don't do anything about it. You refer us to the state of South Dakota. And nothing ever happens. So I guess a little more detail into the referendum or the specifics of what the complaint process is, among other gravel quarries that are undergoing litigation for damages due to dust debris, flying debris, health issues. There's multiple court cases going on with some of those too, which also get referred to the state of South Dakota, not you. I think careful consideration ought to be given more to the people, and you telling them to refer to the state of South Dakota after the fact is not the answer that we're looking for here today. And I'll just leave this briefly and I'll pass it back.
Okay, thank you.
Lynn?
Thank you. My name is Lynn Lovingood, 10305 Homestake Road. All the landowners on Homestake Road and wherever your private property is have the right of quiet enjoyment of their property. Quiet enjoyment doesn't mean that at 6:45 in the morning, I get awakened every morning by non-compliant trucks coming onto Homestake Road. The application they're told is basically the same application that was previously submitted. Well, that application was passed with no requirement for noise control, no requirement for dust control, no requirement for silicate dust compliance, no requirement for water acquisition, no requirement for wastewater disposal. Their proposal, the last time looked exactly the same as this one, but when it was passed, there were no requirements for the health and safety of the citizens. Because there were no safety concerns addressed, the signature drive was made and over 1,000 signatures were gathered to oppose this previous submitted proposal to this court. When they were taken up to Lawrence County to be submitted, they would not take them because they said that the application was withdrawn the previous day. So more than enough signatures were gathered to oppose this one. Previous applications for the same mark. I'm just trying to recall what was said the last time regarding this operation. And Lawrence County is going to receive very, very, very little, if any, benefit from this mark. Why? Because the trucks are, remember from the last time, the trucks are licensed in Wyoming, the trucks are insured in Wyoming, the trucks are going to be fueled in Wyoming, all the mechanics on the trucks are going to be done in Wyoming. If the hauled material is taken to Wyoming for sale, then interstate commerce provides there'll be no sales tax from the interstate commerce. So, what benefits to Lawrence County? This application, which I believe differs from the last one, says there's going to be 6 to 15 loads per day of 15 to 30 tons per load. Well, that doesn't get you to 200,000 tons. And I remember when this was done the last time, they were anticipating 40 loads a day with a belly dump with a pup behind it, which is 80 round trips. So if they're going to limit, this application is going to stay limited to 6 loads, 6 to 15 loads a day at 30 tons each. That's a heck of a lot of difference in the last. But it's going to be changed. Oh, well, we're going to want more. We're going to expand it, yeah. Well, the problem is noise pollution, dust pollution, this amount of trucking will entail interferes with quiet enjoyment of everybody, and not to mention the silicon dust requirements with the federal government, it just lessens the standards by about 50%. So this question, if Cool can absorb the cost of paving homesick roads and putting in bridges, they can buy electric haul vehicles, which are now available. And then the noise pollution will be zero. Now, if you woke up every morning at 6:30 in non-compliance with the requirements of the current statistics cost for my house. I think this should not be entertained until after the Supreme Court rules on 005, which if they rule in favor of citizens that did the referendum, then a referendum vote will take place and we'll be back at a different procedure. But what we're trying to do is trying to get this in under the deadline and create a problem. It shouldn't occur. So I think it should be tabled until the Supreme Court rules on the previous signature drive for referendum. Thank you.
All right, Charlie, you're up next if you want to. Do you want to speak?
No, Dave, I'm
No,
here to
you're
listen
good.
today.
Okay, you just had your name on here, so. Gerald Marthland?
Yeah, Gerald Marcel here, 2290 area. What I've heard here today is there's a lot of rich history in agriculture. A lot of people here, 5 generations. I respect folks who want to continue that on as well. But I'd like to see it as agriculture and not a mining industry. Not a gravel pit. My home is directly affected by the location of this pit, if it were to go. Prevailing winds that we've heard, northwesterlies, they're strong. They're incredibly strong. And what I've heard from the management of this pit, I didn't hear a lot of definitives of how they're going to manage it. Or we're going to try. I heard we're going to do this, maybe we're possibly looking at this. I have not heard definitives, and what the public requires are some definitives on how this will be controlled, because from what it sounds like, history is saying that this stuff isn't mandated, isn't maintained. It isn't, if you have complaint, they're not getting, yeah. I respectfully oppose this draft. Thank you.
I'm just gonna read these names, but I think most of them are plats, tell me otherwise. Mike, Rick, and Jody McKee, I'm assuming you're here for the plat. And then I have Kim Labor on here, it looks like Hidden Pines. Kevin Carlin, Hidden Pines, Sherry Meidinger, Hidden Pines, Everly, Hidden Pines. Just making sure I'm not skipping over you, it's just, I think you're here for the other item. So then that takes us to the back page, and it looks like it's, oh, I can't read this one. James Metzger? Okay, there we go.
My name is James Metzger. I'm 10563 Homestake Road. I live within a mile and a half of where the pit is going to be. I have no quarrel with it. I do agree with the approval of the seal.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is Bill Baxendale. You want to say anything?
I thought that was signage.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. I just trying to go through it. And Israel Dirks.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, first of all, thank you for listening. Everyone does have a valid point.
Can we get your name and address,
Oh,
please?
yeah, sorry. My name is Israel Dirks. I live on 103-437 Homestake Road. So the concerns I would like to address, considering the nature of the operation, the men on the ground doing the work would probably be the ones that understand the pollution best. And they are insured, they have medical. I mean, if anyone's gonna have a problem, it would be them. We know they don't need respirators. We know they don't need air control. I don't necessarily see the pollution concerns regarding that. So I guess that's all I'd like to say. I am in support.
Thank you.
Kim Larson. If you want to. Yes, you don't
Just
have
have to
to.
say, Kim Larson, 10499 West Highway 14, Spearfish. And Larson family is my family. And everybody that's spoken, I agree with what they've said. And as our family, we want to preserve the land and keep it going, reclaim it. And limestone, as a gravel quarry, there are not many in the county or in the area, and it's much needed. That's all I say. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a Kevin Carlin on here. It looks like it's for, I'm guessing Hidden Pine, but I just wanted to double check. Okay, I wanted to make sure. Yeah, no, that's fine. Kristen Wing.
I'm gonna move up here because I've got
That's fine.
lots of materials. My name is Kristen Wing. I live at 22986 Cedarberry Avenue. I am representing 1,113 other individuals. You know that in 2023, when we were successful in gathering signatures for the.
Do we have the names and addresses of those?
I do. But if I could just finish and make my point about this. These were not turned in because we were informed that the Larson family and Kroll withdrew the application. And it's probably likely that they withdrew it because we were so successful when we gathered petitions for the Heath Grand North Star pit and were able to schedule an election which overturned the decision of the county commissioners. So we were in process of gathering signatures for the Larson Kroll pit, and we stopped. So when I say 1,113, 1,114 if you include me, we weren't even finished. We had several more days in which we could have gathered signatures. And we were doing this in November. And if you'll remember, November of 2023 was pretty brutal. So I just want to make that point that there are a lot of people here and there are people who write in. But there are a lot of people in the community who not only signed the petitions for the North Star pit, this Kroll pit, and for the against ordinance, what is it? 2525, 2505, whatever it is. So there's a lot of community agitation about this, and I would like to think that that would be considered. I also don't want to repeat too much what everybody else has said, so I kind of have some things organized here, and if I pause a little bit in between, it's in part because I'm trying to skip over things, not that I'm trying to drag it out. Somebody mentioned the whole issue of the purpose of the zoning ordinance, and I know you know it, but I think I'd like to read it to you because what I get out of it and perhaps what you get out of it are two different things. You're to provide for the administration and enforcement for the purpose of promoting the health, safety, and general welfare of the county. You look down, and that's A. B, these regulations are designed to carry out, one of them is treasure and manage the natural environment, promote health and the general welfare. And here's the one that means a lot to those of us who live out there. The regulations are intended to preserve and protect existing property uses and values against adverse or unharmonious adjacent uses. So I do understand the issue of property rights, but one person should not be able to do something that causes harm to another person. That is, as someone said earlier, why we have government, so that we can resolve these issues. And we would hope that you would listen to us in that regard. Question I have about the board, and perhaps you can clarify it for me, and I thank you so much for introducing yourselves, because I was going to ask you to do that. I don't know all of you, and we don't all go out to the website and kind of match your faces. It says the Planning and Zoning Board consists of 1 county commissioner and 6 citizen members. Well, there are 2 county commissioners, and there's the son of a county commissioner, and there's someone who's in the gold mining business, and there's someone who's in kind of the dirt work freight hauling business. So it's not exactly well representative it doesn't represent the community very well at all. You don't have any.
Can I clarify something?
Uh-huh.
What do I do for the gold mining company?
Environmental safety.
Environmental director.
Yes.
So I understand water quality, dust, reclamation, and all of that.
Right, and I appreciate your expertise for that. But again, why is everybody all tied in with one thing? It would be good to have people. Why don't you have somebody from healthcare? Healthcare and medical research is my background, and you can tell me all day that breathing silica dust is just fine, and I can tell you that it's not fine. So experts disagree. So, but thank you for clarifying that. And I didn't mean that as an insult. What I meant is it's the same industries over and over again, and you're not hearing.
Okay,
This is
that's enough. We're gonna have a civil conversation here. We're not gonna have the.
This is our only opportunity I actually have, I've had experience in counties where they have, and I mentioned this 2 years ago. There's a lot of talent in this community. And there are a lot of people who are retired, semi-retired, or willing to give you folks time. I don't know why this county can't do what other counties do around the country, which is to have study commissions on issues. You bring people with varied backgrounds in to review an issue and make a recommendation only to the county commission. I said that before, I say it again, I'll volunteer. And regarding running, it probably takes money, and it takes, in this community, it takes living in this community for 5 generations, because it doesn't seem to
Kristen, I
happen.
will tell you, planning and zoning board, every single year, it is in the agenda, anybody can apply for it, and then it goes forward. So that's very different than running for county commission.
Yeah.
So the board is just.
And I thank you for that. I actually would be interested in that sort of thing. I don't know. Perhaps you don't get any applications, but maybe you need to reach out to the community and encourage people. Make us feel a little guilty and say, if you're part of this community too, we need some help.
Yeah, it is on there every single, usually starts October.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, it's published in the newspaper at least twice, starting in November.
Well,
and
I
December.
don't get the newspaper, and that's for a very important reason, but anyway.
It's on the website also.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like this is the Kristen Wynn P&Z podcast or something. If I can go back to my point, I'm not trying to, I'm actually trying to offer suggestions, I'm trying to offer we don't ever have a dialogue. We can sit here and talk to you, but we don't have a dialogue. Maybe you could convince us that these things are good for us if you would talk to us. But you let we don't have much of an opportunity. We could speak, but I don't know if we're heard. Moving on, I talked to the environmental scientist at South Dakota Agriculture and Natural Resources because I've had difficulty getting information about what the construction aggregate type would be. I don't know how many pits there are in South Dakota, how many there are in Lawrence County. Well, I now know there are 19 gravel pits in Lawrence County. He said that they're active. They're licensed operators for construction aggregate. So we have 20 in Lawrence County. So this would be 21, then, as we go to the next property on Crow Peak, 22, 23, how many do we need? And that's the question we asked the last time. Do we really know how much we need? I don't know. All right, let's go to I was very, very pleased to hear Mr. Marchand talk about, if I'm saying your name correctly, talk about the details, because what I don't understand, I've read the application. So hopefully there's something else, like there's some contract between Kroll and the Larsons, or there's something else you get that gives the details. Because how do you hold the company accountable to the details if it's not in the application? So he mentioned paving the road. He actually talked to one of my neighbors about that. He mentioned, all it says in here, when you look at the details, and it's kind of an add-on, additional information pertaining to the mining operation, bullet point 1. Proposed operational hours, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It doesn't say that it's, that we get Sunday off, so at least we can sit outside or be outside on Sunday. It doesn't say when it doesn't say anything about when the crushing will be. My neighbor was told that it would be probably 2 months out of the year. I don't understand why those specifics aren't in there, because if they're not in there, how does one hold them to those? Other people have talked about the tonnage, et cetera, so I'm going to ignore that part. I think that what's puzzling too is that you say that you're kind of like a pass-through organization. Like if everything looks good on the form, you're going to send it to the next level. And then the next level is the Board of Adjustment. So at what point do some of these specifics get put into a document so that we know that there would be a paved road, or there would be a limit in hours, or there would be a mechanism that we can use to complain about the dust? And finally, I just want to talk about the wind out there like everybody else is. You need to come out there and spend some time, because it can be perfectly still in the morning. In fact, I was noticing it last night. I really think about the wind now a lot. I notice the wind a lot because we all of us out there go, it's like, okay, what direction is it coming from? What's the speed? You know, we actually know, and it comes up quickly. The wind is strong enough that I have my backyard has a patio and a cover, and then there's Cedarberry Canyon. And I have pots with herbs in them sitting there, and the wind can blow over those pots. That is not a typical wind situation, and they come up quickly. So another gentleman mentioned, okay, what do you do when you've got these piles of rock and then all that wind comes through? No one is going to be there at night to dump water on it. You'd be dumping a heck of a lot of water on it. The other thing is the dust control plan. This is a boilerplate. You could probably go out to LegalZoom and get this. When North Star submitted their application 2 years ago, theirs had the same verbiage in it. It says that factors influencing dust generation. 5 primary factors which influence the potential for dust. Wind speed across the surface, moisture content of the material, area of exposure. It doesn't say what they're going to do about it. It basically just says, well, we know these things. Okay, dust sources and controls, crushing screening operation. Take account of daily forecast wind speed and wind direction and soil conditions before commencing an operation that has high dust potential. How do they do that? He says they've got some sort of like meters out there, but do they stop it if all of a sudden we get a storm coming in and heavy winds from Wyoming? Do they stop what they're doing with trucks lined out there waiting to load? I don't think so. So I really think the problem is that shelf is very exposed, and I don't see how you can control it out there. Blasting. Do not blast during high wind days. Well, I guess you're not going to be doing much blasting out on Pro Peak Bench because it's almost always a high wind day. If we just knew that there would be some way that if there is a violation or if we have a concern that we'd be heard. But you've heard other people say, we're not going to hear it. And we're going to be referred to South Dakota. No one's going to come out and do anything. So really they get to do what they want. And speaking of violations, which will be the last thing, I just have a few, like my neighbor Les does. When there's a violation, Kroll is a very big company. They have, if you go out and you don't pay for their financials, but you just get what's out on Google, They're between 100 and 500 million. They are in 11 states. They have deep pockets. So when they have a violation and they're fined $7,000, they pay $7,000 and go on. The next one you pay 14, they pay 14 and go on. You know, I don't think that you can say that just because regulations are put down in a document, that it means they're going to follow it, because they don't really have to. And it's not their, you know, again, I'm all for big business too, but big business doesn't really care about what the little guy is doing, because we don't have the deep pockets. They want to make money. Kroll wants to make money. So, and I understand that, but perhaps not make money at the expense of people who have built homes or giving back to this community, and who really want to not have to wait 25 years to have peace and quiet again. Temporary is not 25 years when you're my age. I'm in my 70s. 25 years, I'm dead. So from now on, I'm not going to have peace and quiet. I'm going to have extra dust. And I'm not, unless I'm really lucky, I'm not going to be here in 25 years. And I actually, as a health professional and as someone who has worked at MD Anderson Cancer Center, I actually feel quite badly for people who think they can raise their children within half a mile of a quarry, and then it's going to be, there'll be no health ramifications. It takes decades for them to show up. They will show up. Someone handed me this. They said to ask, I don't know quite what it means. The gentleman might want to speak up. I don't know. Ask Brian about an asphalt plant going in the quarry area. Will there be one, and what will the impact be, and can they control the smell? I have no idea what that is, but I just said I would read it. Thank you for your time.
Did you want to submit any of that for the record?
I
If you
will
do,
afterwards.
We can just make a copy.
Yeah. I'll do that after.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I think I saw Dave step out, but I think he's.
Yep, is there quite a few more on the list?
There's, yeah, we got a few
Okay, at this point, would the applicant like to address any of the concerns? Do you have any answers for any of those concerns?
You don't have to.
Yeah.
We're just giving you a chance in the middle here.
Opportunity.
Yeah, so an asphalt plant, that's not included in permit, it's not allowed.
We can't hear you.
What's the answer to the
The
question?
asphalt plant is not an allowed use in the conditional use permit. That was the question.
It's not included in the permit, so it's not allowed. I'd have to go back in front of this whole board and go through the whole thing again, so it's not included. Right, when you talk. So, that is.
Okay, thank you for whoever gave that to me. I forgot.
Okay,
all I have.
all right, we go to the next person on the list.
Dave Green. He's standing out there, I can see him, but I think he's for a plat. Patsy Custis.
Hi, my name is Patsy Custis. I live in 570 McWigan Road. I'm a lifelong citizen of Spearfish in Lawrence County, and I think discussions like this are terrific. I come in support of the Larson Ranch, a historical ranch that wants that history to continue, and many times we have to branch out as a small business to continue that longevity, and I'm in support of them.
Okay, I think Matt was a plat. I'm guessing Emily is, yes, yep.
Hi, I'm Emily Pokart, 10189 Homestake Road. We live right on exit 2 there, come up Red Hill and Homestake, and I'm not going to regurgitate what everybody said, but the trucks that we already have passing our house are a problem for us. We just had guests in town that said, where are all these trucks coming from? So we already have an issue with that. I just think that intersection's not going to get any better with the ones heading, sorry, I don't know what you said, the gravel going to Wyoming will travel that route, and that concerns me. Also, I hate public speaking, sorry, this is terrible for me. Also, paving that road on the way up from town is great, love that, awesome. what about the road the rest of the way? It's very narrow. There's a part where it's 35 there. I'm concerned about safety there. There's blind turns, there's blind hills already. We already have a problem with the truck, so that's concerning for me. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. I don't want to say anything else. I'm opposed to it. There you go. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Shelby?
Hi, I'm Shelby Lund, 19939 Red Hill Road, Spearfish, and I'm against the gravel pit. I grew up in Spearfish, and actually how I got to Spearfish is my father was the general manager of Fisher Sand and Gravel and brought that pit down to our area. So I grew up in the gravel world, and I was always on that gravel pit. There was a couple of them, and so I know the world of open pit mining, gravel pitting, trying to keep the water that, or keep the gravel from blowing everywhere in the water. And like I'm not very good public speaker, so just bear with me. But it is pollution. It's air pollution. It's noise pollution. It's you can't reclaim the land once it's been there. It's been torn up. It's stuff's been taken out. It doesn't look the same. I've seen it myself. I know it. This will affect my family and where we live. The noise. My neighbors now, just west of me, have told me that their water gets contaminated every time Fisher Sand and Gravel blasts at their pit in Wyoming. And so you can't tell me that we're not going to be affected by what this gravel pit will do to us and our neighbors. And I'm 100% with how Larsons feel. It's our land. We should be able to do what we want. But at the price tag of your neighbors, that's a hard one. So I'm against it, and there you have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a plat. There's a Sierra, is it Karis online? That it put her name
Thank
down?
you.
Okay,
Sierra, I don't know if you can hear me.
yes, we can, Sierra.
Sierra Karis, 1912 Reserve Street. I would like to voice that I am in agreement against the mining pit. Agree with comments by Naomi, Terry, Kristen, other Kristen, and the two ladies who spoke. Also, like as a outdoor enthusiast, I am concerned about extra gravel truck traffic and dust. I frequent that road, have the privilege to ride my bicycle out there and enjoy the lovely views. So I'd be concerned about the extra dust and traffic and safety for all those who travel that road. Thank you.
Thank you. The next one online, I just have an initial. Is it MS Elcone? Okay.
Yes, I had already put my question in as having everyone identify themselves.
Okay, that's all you have then, is just that?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
So
And
that
I
is
am opposed to the gravel pit.
opposed? Okay. And then the other two, Sarah and David, are online, but they're for, I don't think they have anything to add to this part. They have a plan afterwards.
You are correct.
Okay.
Amber? I didn't get a chance to sign that.
Let's have, if there's anybody else, there might be a few that snuck in. You might.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that actually, if there's anybody in the room that would like to sign in really quick, I'd like to give you that opportunity.
I'll
to
write
do
your
that.
name down. I can write you down. I know how to get
You know
over
who
you.
I am too.
Yep.
Just say your name and address.
I'm
please.
Mark Rizzi, 11457 Brownsville Road, Lee. Sitting here listening to everybody today, I can see both sides. The Larsons have a right to do what they want with their property. They don't have the right to infringe on anybody else's rights. The gentleman from Kroll talked about the silica monitors. Well, it's kind of disingenuous what he said. I've seen it day in, day out. These employees wear the silica monitors, but they do their best to stay out of the dust. MSHA does not monitor the dust that leaves the property and goes on to other people's property. They don't do that. So my thing is this, I'm dealing with it with a gravel pit now. You guys set up these CUPs that, in theory, if followed, would do a great job on keeping most of these people out of these hearings or these public comments. But you don't have anybody to enforce it. I sent a letter to Bob Ewing stating, if you charge each person with a CUP $200 per year, it would come up to over $125,000, and you could hire somebody that would do nothing but enforce these CUPs. The gravel pit that I am involved with right now in a lawsuit, they had 16 conditions over 30 years, and there was only a couple they were in compliance with over 30 years. And I'm going, who is the one in charge? Basically what it is, and like, you guys have a tough job because you don't have the manpower to go out and do that. I gave a suggestion, a solution to get it done. It fell on deaf ears. I understand that we need gravel for roads and all that, but the people also need to be protected as well. Talk is cheap. I heard the gravel owner say this, this, and this, and he's going to do this, this, and this. Hasn't happened. And I got tired of calling the county. I got tired of complaining because nothing happened. So I guess my point is this. It's hard for me to say, hey, yeah, give them the gravel permit. Let them make this gravel pit because they're going to do X, Y, and Z when I haven't seen it happen. And then when they don't do it, there's no consequences. So like I said, I see both sides, but without some sort of consequences for their actions, not following their CUP, you might not even well have a CUP. Doesn't make sense. That's all I got.
Okay, well, thank you.
And then I think the last one is it Jace?
I'm Jason Gesser. My home address is 10557 Homestake Road. We're right by it. I'm against it 100%. I think trying to raise a family and kids and stuff one day there. That's the last thing I want them driving around as much semis and 18-wheelers and shit. The roads are already terrible up there. I've had 2 wrecks on those bridges already. I've been down both sides of it, got hit head on one of them. And that's just with the car and a pickup trailer. So, I mean, if you guys are really thinking 18-wheelers are going to work on that road, it's crazy. And just for horses and stuff, I rodeo for a living and stuff. So trying to have horses and cattle and stuff there, shoot, it scares the heck out of me. That's all I got to say. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
So it doesn't look like anybody else has put their name in online since we started. And then these were, unless there's anybody else, this was everybody on the list.
Okay. I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to talk. So is there anybody else?
Chuck was raising his hand.
Yeah.
I'm Kim Martin, and I live in Spearfish and Moore Valley.
What's your address, Kim?
137.
Okay, thank you.
I know the Larson family, they're great people. They love their land. They're never gonna harm it. I can tell you that right now. I want to continue to ranch. And, everybody is building houses around us. It happened to me in the valley. I was new country, and all of a sudden I have houses all over me. To me, that's like, that ruined my value of my land, to have houses all around me. Well, they're getting encroached upon by homes. Homes have concrete, they have asphalt, they have gravel, they have gravel roads, everybody's driving gravel road, but nobody wants to have a gravel pit, which doesn't make any sense to me, because where are you gonna get it? You're gonna get it somewhere else in somebody else's backyard? I mean, it's gotta come from somewhere, and it comes in the hills, that's where it's formed. And we have homes popping up everywhere, and so it's very hypocritical when you live on a gravel road, you need to close a gravel pit. Do you need it? developments coming here, people are moving here like crazy. As far as the smoke, I drive up there, I never see dust from that other gravel pit. I'm up there all the time, like 4 days a week. I've never seen gravel pit. I've never seen smoke. That's just from my perspective. You have, I don't know, the wind does howl, I never have to live in South Dakota or wind state. But, you know, it is ag land, and this is a valuable resource for all of us. And it's allowed to be mined there. And so I just want to get that out there, and know that I support the family, and I know they love their land, and we're not gonna harm it. They want to put it back the way it is. We just gotta get along, because anytime county meets city, this is what happens. I'm not happy. I had a view of all the hills, all of a sudden I have a back of houses. I don't like it. That's, so if you're gonna build a house, you might wanna think about where you're building it. And if it's next to ag land, you might wanna think twice, because that is our resource around here. Most people. Thank you for listening.
Charles, did you want to speak?
I think she said everything that I
She
was
did?
going to
Okay.
say. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's all I have on here then, and then.
Okay,
So far, I haven't, anybody else online?
Last call, I want to make sure that everybody that wants to talk can say what they want to say. Okay, all right, this time we'll close the public hearing. Okay, discussion, thoughts? It's a lot to take in a little bit of time there, so.
Your permitting not only comes from,
Okay, when the board's talking, I ask that everybody in the audience please be quiet. Thank you.
you get your main pit a permit from the state, is that correct? And you don't get that unless we approve the location. But all the details on dust, water control, water environment, and those things that comes out of the state, is that not correct?
That is correct. They give limits, so we have to stay underneath. We have to use best practices to be underneath those limits. So for example, opacity, which is a reading that really tells about how dusty it is. We send guys to here every year, or foremen, they're instructed that opacity was above the state standards, then they are supposed to shut down or increase their methods of dust. So, and this, they talk about the state coming out and checking it. If we're running, the opacity is above the 7, they can shut us down and fine us. Right? So,
Do they come and inspect without complaints or anything at times, or?
yes, they have a pearly pit up in Rankin City.
And they have experts to know how much dust can happen and can read the water control problems and contamination, as opposed to the county that's limited budget.
Yes, and quite honestly, all the state locations that we have, that is the way it is. The state has all the scientists, they have all the experts, they're the guys that counties lean on to give them guidance and support.
I've learned a lot since being on the county commission. The state basically runs us as puppets, tells us to do these things, but don't give any money to do them with. And you know, same with this. I mean, we sit here and listen to the local people, but all the regulations really come from other folks, from the state itself. And you almost, your hands are tied on a lot of it. Just approved, went through CUPs, the last meeting, their annual review, and we had 2 3/4 pits, one out by this one. But I've seen dust in, and nobody has filed a complaint the whole year on it. I mean, everybody talks about filing complaints, but you got to put your name on the complaint and, you know, fill out a written document and sign the complaint and provide it to the county to do any good. And people get to that point, now I'm good. I'm not going to complain. So, the paved road, that sounds good. And you're talking about widening. Tie that into this permit if we do it.
Last, one of the conditions I had to sign a contract with the Bridge County. And that would be one of the conditions in that document, is what I would suggest.
Okay.
The whole road agreement.
Yeah, the whole road agreement is
Is
not,
part of that.
it's not part of ours because that's something that the Board
Works
of
into the
Adjustment works on
understanding.
with, directly with the highway superintendent, and so it's actually an added piece.
Okay.
So it won't go with, as part of this, that would
None of
be
our
a separate
conditions.
meeting.
Very correct. It will be.
Yep.
Or is it not a condition?
So one of the things that I heard a lot today for a health concern is the silica. Is there silica emissions from a limestone gravel pit? Is there silica in the limestone?
I can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Generally limestone, 1 to 5% silica. It's not a high ratio in the limestone. If you're dealing with quartz, yeah, it's gonna be up there a little ways. But, for us, we do not pulverize the rock. So, even if it's at the highest 5%, part of that silica is still within the trained in the rock itself.
Okay.
If we were turning it in powder, it might be a little bit higher, but, silica is a buzzword for sure. And the thing about silica is we have to protect our workers. And we don't have anybody that is sick from silica. We have MSHA test the guys. We're allowed 100 micrograms within an 8-hour time frame. And we have not crossed that threshold. So if our workers aren't exposed, the public's not going to be exposed either.
Is there silica on the gravel out there now on the roads?
Yes. Yeah, it's in the soil. I mean, if you're a rancher farmer, we get it from farming and ranching. We get it from the gravel road. It's natural everywhere.
How about where the homes get dug up? Is there silica in that rock?
Yeah.
Dismiss that issue.
One of the big concerns I had the last time we looked at this was that road going to the east. And I think that widening that road and paving that road actually could possibly reduce the dust in the area. But that kind of changes things quite a bit, I think, by being willing to do that road agreement.
Yeah, and, the county's gotta come up with an easement to provide them. But yeah, we're willing to do that. I think it's beneficial to everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a system in the area where the wind speeds hit a certain level where a sprinkler system could come onto the piles? I've never seen it either, but it
could be designed.
Like our dirt piles and everything, we made the agreement after so many days. If they're still open, we see them. Trying to mitigate that. As far as the big aggregate piles, there's not much you can do. They're trying to hide them in a hole. You shadow them, so there's only one pile. The station out. That's about all.
Mike, looks like you have some thoughts.
Well, I do. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that came and responded both for and against. I think that's really good. I do apologize. I'm kind of hard of hearing myself. I lost a hearing aid mowing the lawn the other day, but I have one on. And I heard everybody pretty good. So thank you for your support or non-support. I'm kind of a land right person, like I think most of us are that live in the area, whether you're pro or not for this. So, these kind of things are very difficult for our committee as well as for the commissioners. And I think there were some really good points raised, both for and against. And we have an open meeting so we can discuss that openly. A couple of good points is enforcement. I think anybody would have to look at things and see there is no enforcement. It would be like our deputy not being able to write tickets or something. So how do you do that? So I think even though it may not be done today, I think in the near future, there's been some good ideas proposed that maybe the commissioners and the folks will take a look at that would improve some things. Of course, you get tired of complaining if nothing gets done. And I know too, in complaints and things, that at the weed board, we are complaint driven. If you don't make a complaint, nothing happens with your neighbor's weeds. But we do go look at the person's weeds who made the complaint. And in a lot of cases, they have more weeds than their neighbor. They just didn't know they were weeds. So it's an interesting scenario how things work. And thank you for the humor, because we need a little humor in. We're all pretty compassionate about whether we want something or don't want something. I'm certainly not opposed. Our heritage in our area is mining, and I'm not a miner. I do have a gravel pit near my ranch. And there is a little dust occasionally, but they keep it pretty good. There's some blasting occasionally, but they work hard they did acquire some land where the rocks would fly a little bit. So now that's not a problem because they own the property. So I think we have to be able to have both things, protection and tranquility. And, I'm about a mile and a half away from that pit. I live in a kind of a hole, you might say, so there's hills and mountains and I don't see the dust like a flat area would see. And I'm certainly aware with the cement plant in Rapid, because I used to live in Rapid for years, and they'd get a big blow and man, it would be like being in a blizzard, only dust. So I understand those things. But I think there's a lot we can do, taking some of the comments that have been made and maybe make some improvements in how we look at things. I don't know that it would affect a lot today, but without people coming and voicing their opinions, you never hear them. And there were a lot of good ideas that were put out, and I think it's important that we look at those diligently and not just, oh, well, when the meeting's over and we've done what we did and go on. I live in South Lawrence County, and I got on the planning and zoning board to learn, and I've learned a lot. Today is one of those days you wish you weren't on the board. But I wanted to represent the people out in that area. There was very little, if any, representation from that area of the county. But it's really difficult. A lot of people don't want to get on boards. Some do and don't attend meetings, and that's not good. But for the most part, I've gotten to know most of our county commissioners. And I think they're a fair mind and they understand a lot of the problems. It may look like that they're on it for a reason, and I think they're on it for a good reason, that they want to make the area better for all people. But again, I will say that, you know, our culture is mining, and so as we have building and we encroach on ag and things like that, there are disagreements and situations, but I think they can be worked out with good communication. And so many people, and I'm guilty of it occasionally, you listen to respond, not listen to understand. And I think that's something that we all need to take a look at and try to resolve issues in the right way. So having said that, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
One concern I had that I heard a lot from the audience today was hours of operations. So I think that before we even consider whether we're for or against this, we should nail down some of that a little bit. There is a condition already currently in here that says it's closed on Sunday. So that's, there wouldn't be any operations on Sundays. But the 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, are we comfortable with that?
I am.
Yeah. Okay, I know the big concern I heard was Sunday, especially, that we definitely don't want anything on Sundays. And that is in there currently, so.
I have a comment. So my thing would be, it isn't like you start right up at 6, there's a preparation. So it'd be more like 7:30 or 8 o'clock.
Well, this is actually 7.
Excuse me?
It's currently 7 to 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And then 9 to 5 on Saturday.
If there's a mechanical breakdown or after those hours, we're kind of within, or
The way this is written is that, let's see, activities such as office or maintenance operations which produce no noise offsite should not be restricted by the hours of operations. I would just say too, I live on Red Hill Road, which is one of the main haul roads out of there. So all the trucks from the current gravel pits go past my house. I've lived there most of my life except for 3 years. And I mean, those Homestake and Red Hill Road were built to be haul roads for forestry and agriculture. And there's been gravel pits and stuff around forever. And I've actually it's been interesting to watch through my lifetime. When I was a little kid, I remember running down to the end of the road to wave at the log trucks and stuff. It was fun. But anyways, watching the increase in traffic over the years as more and more houses get built out there, it's just incredible how many cars are going by multiple times a day too. And that increase in traffic is definitely noticed. And then as far as my view goes, I don't even notice the gravel pits around me, but the houses around me have really changed. I can't go pee off my porch anymore. So is there any other considerations in here that we want to change? I think one thing that I would like to add also before we even consider it is I don't think I could be for it without that haul road agreement. I think that's a huge part of it.
It's on my list.
Yeah, so I don't think I could even consider it without, sorry, sir, the public hearing's closed. Yeah.
I would like to say something about that haul road, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
Kevin Farmer, 11794 Crook City Road. I think you're promoting a road by possibly mandating the operator to pave that road. His expenses incurring that to get that done are gonna, in the neighborhood of, for most of us taxpayers, that would be a $3 million expense to get that paved from.
He's volunteering to pay for it.
I understand that. But I think what we're doing is we're inviting traffic to go that way as compared to going out the Red Hill way, which would be the least impactful to current housing developments of the Cedarberry or the Turkey Ridge development and the remaining area of development up there that's yet to be, developed. And the people traveling to and from Crow Peak or Crow Peak recreational area. I think if you put a paved road going in there, it will be the main road for all of those gravel pits coming out of there. And you'll kill somebody up there coming out of those housing districts or going to and from upper Crow Peak Bench. I would highly disagree with that, and I'm totally against Corey, of course.
Okay, thank you.
I think promoting a certain designation by paving a road is the wrong answer. It should go out Red Hill.
I still want the county road agreement on as a condition. Doesn't specify that, but does not specify that. So I would add that as a condition, yes.
See, what doesn't it specify? I'm sorry. The conditions?
The conditions don't have anything about a haul.
It just says there has to be one. I don't think there's a.
Number 2 says the haul route shall be approved by the Highway and the Board of Adjustment prior to the start of operation. All access points will have to be determined by the Highway Department. The agreement, if and when deemed necessary by the county, shall identify the repair and maintenance responsibilities, whatnot.
Then we
So
don't have to
that
add
is
number
number 2.
two.
Well,
Thank you.
Nice job, Amber. It says that we have to have it, but I'd like to have a little more information, like that those spots will get widened out and paved.
Then we get responsibility of the county to do pre-feasibles. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I think if that is something this board wants to have some say in, then
We can make that.
you would make that as part of your motion. I don't have I don't even have a draft to show you at this point. So I don't have anything. You can not make a decision and ask for that too. I mean, that's up to you guys how you decide to do it. The haul road agreement, normally in the past, this board has never really had a say in it. It's just gone to the county commission and the Board of Adjustment, so. But we did make sure it was in there saying they had to have one.
Yeah. Okay.
I would also add, Mr. Chairman, that in the conditions, there's a dust control plan will need to be provided and approved. That was a question that came up during the public hearing. It is in here that the dust control plan does need to be in place prior to operation. So
There is a dust control plan in the overall application. So if you approve the application and that dust control is in there, that is what I will use.
It's part of their package.
Yes.
And Mike, for the weed board, there's a condition that all noxious weeds have to be controlled in existence in here too.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a weed plan with that. What we've done has been working out pretty good. We're happy to help you with that with the weed board. Our superintendent of that department can come out and survey that with you and recommend what to do and help you make a plan for that. But that's an important thing.
Yeah. I believe the Larson Family LLP already has a weed plan with the weed board, as far as I understand. I think there's already one in place because he's reviewed it. May not be as detailed as what you need with this operation, but just the general maintenance of the property.
And it has nothing to do with this, but I might tell the audience here that the weed board has sprayers for you. They're free to use. They're full of gas. You bring them back. They'll help you make a weed plan around your property. We're happy to do that for you. But it's a public service that most people don't know about. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve conditional use permit 498 for a small scale sand, gravel, and rock extractive industry as the applicant has met the requirements set out in the ordinance and it is an allowed CUP in the A1 General Agricultural Zoning District with the proposed conditions 1 through 33.
Second that motion.
Okay, further discussion?
A conflict of interest?
Discussion?
Yeah.
He's on it, and his dad?
Yeah.
Conflict of interest.
Just a little bit of discussion. I've been a proponent of private property rights, and I'm also a proponent of zoning. And those two things are often in conflict, because if we're going to have private property rights, you're saying that I should be able to do what I want on my property. But I'm also in favor of zoning, because I think that we need to ensure that we know what to expect when we move into an area. I guess that's probably what I'm trying to say. And so, as been mentioned, on an Ag 1 zoning, small scale mining, along with several other things that have been mentioned, are conditional uses. And so then we can look at an area, we know what those possible conditional uses are, and we can make our decisions on if we want to live there or not based on those. An infringing use of property is really in the eye of the beholder. There are uses that my neighbors do that I have seen in the area that infringe upon me. But I realize that that's their land, that they can do that. They have a right to do that. It's within the zoning. The things that infringe upon my beliefs probably don't infringe upon a lot of your beliefs. So that's very hard to mitigate from our position. I think we all have responsibilities not to do activities that adversely affect our neighbors. And our job on the planning and zoning, and then my job as a county commissioner and on the Board of Adjustment, is to make sure that they are not doing things that are going to infringe, or if their activities are done in a controlled manner and mitigated to that they have the least effect on their neighbors as possible. And I'm confident that we have done that through this plan. There's dust control plan. There's going to be a haul road agreement. The location of the small scale mining is down in a hole, basically, where that's going to limit the amount of noise coming out of there. The plan calls for building the burn with the overburden up above there to further reduce that. It's about as good a spot as we can have for a small scale mining operations. And so I'm in favor of this because it's a needed product for our area. It's been mentioned, limestone gravel is in a short supply of this area. Yes, we have 20-something pits. Not all of them are that high a quality of gravel, and that's the key to it. So I think that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Are you going to enforce it? Are you going to sit out there and enforce it and make sure they follow that?
Public hearing's closed. Public hearing's closed. Okay, anything else? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries.
So just a reminder, this will go to the county commission and board of adjustment. It'll be on that agenda, 2 separate agendas. It'll be August 26th. Right now, I think we're scheduled right at about 9 o'clock. That hasn't been posted yet. And it will be up at the new public service safety building. So it'll be up at the top there by the lodge inside that building.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break while everybody reconvenes here.
It'll just go with it.
All right.
in front of a public meeting.
That it's not a good time for you to debate them. So the state has an inspector.
They all,
I think that also means that be right about it. I've been to just an inspector.
See any guns drawn or anybody getting tased?
Oh, I forgot to give this back. Hey, Jim. How you doing? Good to see you. No.
Did you see I emailed you?
Yeah.
I don't know if they got it. At least it's there. It was 2 years old. Yeah. Energy back.
Yeah, no, she was. Yeah, she did. Yeah.
17.
You bet. Yep, no problem.
It's very question. Yeah.
I sure wish I was still chewing.
Yeah. I'm ready when you are for the next item.
Let's get this.
Mine's over politics, trying to get somebody to use a 3-week prayer.
Take him up on that. Spray the roots of the box.
I was gonna ask if.
I do this with things. Thank you.
Ask him.
Oh, shit. I'm sitting over there, I got it around my fingers and I went like that. It just goes. Oh, yeah.
You gotta bring the sprayers back with gas in them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where everybody can see it too.
Although I picked one up.
Oh, that's
Good.
Is anybody here for the development plan for Colin Thompson? Let's skip that one because we have people here for stuff.
Okay.
I can talk about it, so same with the ordinance, we can move that to the end. I know David Maynard, the discussion item, David and, oh geez, I just blanked it.
Oh.
Sarah,
Sarah.
David and Sarah are on mine.
Yeah, but usually 2 hours later, we're pretty done with this agenda.
So. Tell me when you're ready. The David and Sarah thing. Skip to number 5.
So we're going to number 5?
Yep, go to number
Okay.
5.
So number 5, discussing interpretation items for David Maynard.
So this is just a discussion, mainly because I'm not real certain where I should go with this. So this is a little piece, the best thing to look at. Yeah, it looks just like this. It's an email. It says layout right on the top. And what it is there's a little tiny piece of ag ground at the intersection of I-90 and Highway 34. And then there's that church right there. There's the church and then the camper trailer place, that whole kind of area. Right below the church, there's a little tiny piece that the Thompson family owns right there. And they would like to sell it possibly to these guys. And with that, the question that had come up is, if before they go through the plating process and whatnot, it's kind of a leftover piece of ag ground. Thompson's own that whole, everything on the other side of the interstate. This is a little tiny piece left. My suggestion would be possibly do just platting it to create a lot, because we have to do something with it. Right now, it's just like a quarter leftover piece. And then possibly, depending on what they decide to do, they could then come in for a change of zoning to bring the lot into compliance with whatever project they want to do. They have to kind of look at it. But there's going to be a process involved. The main thing that I think they were looking for some reassurance on is it going to be a platted lot, and should they go through that regular platting process to do it? It's a leftover piece. We have them floating around out there. I'd rather see it platted than stay unplatted. It's 2 acres-ish, we're guessing. Once we see a plat, would be a little bit more. So I don't really need a yes or a no, but we're going to treat it like a normal layout plan where they would come to you kind of asking a question. If you don't have any concerns, then they would have to go forward and do like the plat process first, because we have to have a legal description to define it. And then if they would decide what they're going to do with it, more than likely, because right now it's zoned ag, but nothing on that side. It's all highway service
It
commercial
shouldn't
on
be
that
zoned
side.
ag, it's only a 2-acre piece. So
Yeah, it's 2 acre. It doesn't meet the requirement. So it's kind of more of a probably compliance sort of thing. But I think their first concern is there a concern with them going through the planning process?
Cleans it up.
Yeah,
I think
for
that's
sure. Yeah.
an appropriate place.
Sarah or David, I don't know if you're still on. Is that, I think, answer your
Yeah,
question?
yeah, we're here. I guess we're actually in the process of getting it platted. It was already surveyed. Ponderosa up there in Leeds trying to get it platted right now.
Okay.
And it looks like it's about 2 acres. So, I was just kind of seeing what the likelihood of getting it zoned like the rest of the other businesses on that street are, like highway service commercial, if we went ahead and moved forward getting it platted and everything.
I think basically what it's looking at is the layout plan is this process that you did today. You would go through the platting process. Once we have the plat issued, then you could do a change of zoning. There's never a guarantee with it. You have to go through the process, but ultimately we usually look at the surrounding zoning, and everything on that side of the highway is all zoned highway service commercial. So, and compliance wise, it wouldn't be able to stay in ag because it's only a 2 acre parcel anyways.
Okay.
Is that fair enough? Does the board agree with
So if I got it platted, I think before the 14th or whatever the next deadline is, would that be able to be moved forward to the next meeting, or is that too late?
Yep, you have to have the plat in our office by the 14th, and we can talk about that detail if you want to. I can give you kind of that layout of what you need to do next.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're working on that plat right now, so I'll try to get that over before. I guess I'll probably talk to you more about it later.
Yeah, we can do that. And Lauren knows the next deadline. It is August for the September meeting.
Okay. All right. I think that's it then. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. We don't need to take any official action on that one, do we?
No.
Okay. Where do you want to go next?
I don't have anybody here for Colin Thompson. I can deal with that at the end. So as long as there's nobody in the room. Informational. So plats wise, we can go ahead and do, number 6 if you want.
Okay, final plat for Kloss Development.
Meets all the requirements. It's a final plat, matches the preliminary. So that's really all I have for that one.
This the one, no.
He was building his house on this.
Yeah, it's just the same.
It's lot 10, 7.68 acres, meets the preliminary plat. This is the final only.
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, number 7, preliminary and final plat for Richard and Jody McKee.
This one, this is splitting that lot, 10 acres and 12.56 acres. There is quite a bit of floodplain on this. You can see that floodplain, so any building permits, we'll have to deal with floodplain when we get to it. It's pretty common. It doesn't make it not buildable. You just get to do more if you have to. And then other than that, there really is nothing with this. I know there was a note in there from the Forest Service. You guys got that email somewhere in there. I think McKee's have been, they know the deal with the Forest Service stuff. So you have, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to just say that we do have a guy that's coming in here this weekend that's gonna spray the business.
Okay.
And the main reason we did this is because we all have growing kids and we just want to clean up their estates. And it's only been used for ag, there's no buildings on it. We have legal access across the Forest Service. But when we clock out, we don't want to leave a mess for our children. And probably the only thing that will ever happen there, there'll never be a rock quarry or anything.
You say that now.
Ouch.
Saying those 2 hours of your life you're not gonna get back, huh?
But yeah, they did do the fire plan. There wasn't anything needed on it. So, I mean, they've gone through the process. This isn't the first time we've seen some stuff out there. So just kind of cleans it up. We have a preliminary and a final on this one.
Okay, we need to approve.
Move to approve the preliminary.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Move to approve final.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, number 8, Amber.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you guys. This one, yes, Benson, right? Yes, Benson. So this one, we just got today. The one thing that was different with this one is fire plan. Yeah, it's an exempt fire plan. It's a lot line revision. It was a very different survey. We're not used to this type of survey, but we got through the process.
Motion
Just showing
is
everything.
exempt.
Okay. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that is exempt. Okay, and then we need to take action on the preliminary and the final plats. So just giving 1 acre to the neighbor.
Yes, just a lot line change.
Move approval of the preliminary.
Second. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries, final plat.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. 9?
That was 9, wasn't it?
That was 8.
It was
Let's
8.
see. This is the.
Did we have to do
layout.
something with Bruce on that?
On what?
Request approval to authorize Bruce?
Oh, the
That's
sign.
up to you, Bruce. Do you want to do that for these guys? They don't usually do it. It's county commission, but.
So I think I talked to Amy about this yesterday and she reminded me there was a plat out there, 2007, 2008, a similar plat. I think it's not really, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not really touched by any kind of a road. And so I don't remember it. I was around, but I think the idea was that it's not really affecting the county road, but somebody's got to sign it in order for it to get recorded. And so the example has been it was signed NA. So if you want to recommend that I do that, I certainly can. That way it can get recorded.
It'll go to county commission.
It'll be in the county commission, we'll do it there.
Yeah, because normally you guys haven't done that in the past, but we didn't want to forget about it. So,
When John
Sorry,
sign
just
off.
checking.
no, that's fine. Thank you. Okay. Are you here for this one? No, SJL tract?
Me and Jake, they're back. We're all here.
They're just hiding.
Yeah, the gang, so
Okay.
you're so mean.
You just gotta move.
back.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, usually have to deny something, at least one.
Hey, I'm not on this
during
one.
the meeting.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
This
As
is
a
true.
reminder.
Are you making a suggestion as to that?
Not number 9, I'm not on it.
Okay. Number 9, Cottonwood Realty LLC.
Okay, so this one, there's quite a lot here, but basically, you guys have seen this before. It's been a little while. This was one of those that the Deer Mountain Village actually purchased it. They came in with a preliminary plat, it was approved, it's been over 2 years, so it would have expired anyways, so it doesn't matter. But with that, at the time, there was some back and forth with the Deer Mountain Road District on that Birch Drive that comes into this, and we're off that now. We have a new person here. So that lot has been sold. And that is the new, what is it? Amy and Jordan, which are in the back of the room. And they are trying to just develop that piece. With this, it's the layout plan only today. They are going to be, looking at single family homes, covenants, HOA, the access point coming in off of Birch Drive, having possibly a gated emergency access leading up to Deer Mountain Village, which it's actually already kind of in already. It's there. And then they would be working with the road district that is already there. Sorry, I'm going to go backwards here. And then with that, they're just setting up their layout here. They know that they have to do some preliminary stuff yet. They did give you a nice little summary. It's in your packet if you guys want to read through it. And then there's a map in there showing kind of their proposed layout. That's not showing. So yeah, that is in your packet. That's probably going to be easier for you to look at anyways, because it's going to get kind of distorted up here. But this is the proposed layout. If you have questions, they're here. If you have anything that you don't like with what you see, that's what we're here for today, is to kind of make sure. And then they'll have to still go through preliminary and final platting and all the detailed stuff.
What's the slope on some of those roads?
Back
slope.
14, there was one little stretch with 14. The rest was anywhere from 6 to 12.
Where's the 14% chunk at? Right over here, I bet.
Yeah, and then so since that layout plan, we've revised it to not have so much road. It's cutting more through the middle. And so we've been going back and forth with the owners on revising the road coming through there.
Okay.
And so.
Those changed again.
Mr. Chairman. Man, just some clarification that this was not purchased by Deer Mountain as speculated on, but they did go through the process. Layout plan is just a draft of the roads. If there's going to be exceptions to the 12 to 14% short areas, that would come to preliminary plat design. The water is going to be provided by the Deer Mountain Water District up there, Sanitary District. And the road going to it is in the road district. The internal road is not yet.
Would the plan be for that road to be part of the road district? Or would
That,
it be
I think
separate?
they'll have to answer that better than I, but I think that if it's gated community, then it wouldn't be in the road district. If it's not gated, it could be.
Okay.
Because public roads, you can't gate.
Yeah.
I think that discussion is ongoing and that'll be worked out before the preliminary plat.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, I would add that even though that at this process, we don't deal with slopes of roads, it's a good thing that we mention that so that the applicant is aware of that.
Yeah, I just want them thinking about it. And then also the setback thing too, I saw in there that the,
Needs to
make
be
sure
addressed.
the 25-foot setbacks all the way around. Okay. Yeah,
I
just
think we
to,
got that clarified, right?
just to eliminate problems in the future.
Was there any other, I mean, other than that, it's just your basic,
Yep.
They're at the stage of going through and figuring out the roads and doing that stuff. I think I brought up all the concerns when we had talked of what the concerns were prior to, trying to work within those parameters and kind of see if they can work with the adjacent property owner, we'll say.
And we need an official approval or denial on this?
Just a layout plan, you usually approve it so they can go forward to
Motion to approve
preliminary.
the layout plan.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, number 10, KR Deer Mountain Club. Lot line revisions combining 12 lots into 6 lots. Sounds good.
We ran the wrong one. Is that the 18R?
Yeah.
On that one?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
1820, we
Okay.
perform each of that.
So this one, owners are doing the lot line revisions, combining 12 lots down into 6. No change in overall subdivision acres. There's no infrastructure improvements on any of the lots. The lots will utilize the Deer Mountain Sanitary District and supply water. Individual septics. I mean, it's just combining lots, which.
So are they lowering the total number of lots, or will the additional lots go somewhere else?
Randy, you want to explain that one?
Sure. So, good question. The lots in the PUD are determined by the water availability. There's an agreement with the water district to own lots. So in theory, these could be transfers to other acreage that's not developed. There's about 300 undeveloped acres out there. But the lots that they're making larger, once the roads and everything were in place, and utilities were in place, it just wasn't practical to try to build on them, so they made it bigger. So they could show up elsewhere.
Yeah, that's still within the original.
Yeah, it's within the original limit and is dictated by the water availability.
Yep.
All right, so this one, we just need to
Just do
add the final.
Yep.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, number 11, Spearfish Mountain Ranch.
Spearfish Mountain Ranch, this is also lot line revisions, making the lot acreages larger, but no change to the overall subdivision acreage. No changes to the overall number of lots, which was 14. No infrastructure improvements on any of the lots. They're using the city of Whitewood's water system, individual septic tanks, no other changes. And yeah, that's it.
Mr. Chairman, I was having a math problem on this. I was wondering how we make the lot acreages larger with no change to the overall subdivision acres.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Oh, there we go for an answer.
The rearrangement of the lots takes hypothetically a 5-acre lot and a 2-acre lot, makes one lot 3 acres and one lot 4 acres. So the math is there.
You say that again?
I said, the math is if you have a 5-acre lot and a 2-acre lot, that's 7 acres total. We move the lot line, make 1, 3, 1, 4.
Oh, okay.
Density stays the same. That's what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, so they all got.
Yeah, everything just got
But you
shifted.
made one smaller. I mean,
What happened
you can't make
was,
them all bigger and then.
what happened was, is that 3-acre minimum was desirable, so they expanded the smaller lots to 3 acres and took some off the larger lots. That's what they're.
So you're making some lots smaller. That's
Yeah.
Some smaller, some
the
bigger.
part. There was nothing about making them smaller.
Yeah, that's.
Motion to approve the final.
Fuzzy surveyor.
Second. Okay, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Maitland Partners.
Rough crowd.
We'll talk in the gallery, please.
All right, this is final plat of 138 and 139 of Paradise 4. Both over 2 acres. There's really nothing new with this one. You guys have approved the roads up here already.
Driveway still looks funny.
I think everything's on a hillside up there.
5 acres.
Okay, this one we were just doing the final plat.
Yep, it matches the preliminary.
Well,
Move to approve the final.
Second.
Discussion?
Thank you.
Okay. Discussion on the current motion? Discussion.
Just say aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, Black Hills Properties LLC, number 13.
This is lot 3, block 1 of Auburn Acres. This one was brought before us once, now we're still working on it, but, I don't know, actually, anybody here for the, oh, there you are, look, you are here. You guys are both here. So basically this one is gonna be, we'll say the road frontage lot, which is North Rochford and Black Forest. That kind of gives you a general idea. It's right along North Rochford and Black Forest. They're looking at doing a boundary of the whole thing, which is that 3 acres. And then we're gonna see, not 3 acres, lot 3, that's what I meant to say, lot 3. And then more than likely, we're gonna see development within that, but that's not where they're at quite yet. They have to have the boundary first. With this, and you can see through here, we do have, it's included in the CID of phase 4, fire plan, all of that stuff, infrastructure, you know, we've already approved all of those things. The new lot is proposed to possibly be used for a shop storage building. A 40-foot shared access to the units will be off of Black Forest Road because the highway department has already told them no more access off of North Rochford Road, so they have to use those existing access points to get to anything. This could fall within the 72 commercial lots that we had pre-approved when that PUD was originally done. Now they're to the point that they're kind of placing them, you know, throughout. You will see we actually have a development plan that'll be coming up for this lot, but to start that process, they need the lot in place first, is kind of where we're at. So even though I put some of the detail in here, I want you to know that you're not approving that detail because that's a full development plan. He has to come in with plans and how the road's gonna look and all the stuff with it. All you're approving is the boundary of that lot with this plat. The rest of it, there has been a lot of discussion and concern with this particular area because Black Forest Road has been under construction for quite a while. There's some drainage things going on. There's some stuff that we've been made aware of and we're working on it. Do you want to go into that anymore? Because I think it's going to get brought up. So since you're here.
Yeah,
any
sure.
updates on it since our last?
So we have a meeting on Tuesday for a preliminary walkthrough on the phase 4 development. Following that meeting, paving on Black Forest Road will occur. So we're looking at within the next two weeks for paving. The drainage issues, we've come up with a plan and talked with the county. For the one at the search and rescue building, we have a plan in place. We've worked with the search and rescue people. We've met with Amber and Bruce out there. And so there's a plan where we want to take that water, and then there was some water drainage down at the end. I met with the Black Forest Road District last week, and we have a drafted agreement in place for us to take the water in the right of way of Black Forest Road, and it'll get to a major drainage. And that's the path that the commission originally approved in the drainage plan for phase 4, is to take the water that way. It just has to be piped because it has to get up over the crest of Black Forest Road. And so we're working on that with the Black Forest Road District out there. I just heard back from them yesterday. They're okay with the agreement draft as is. And so next step is to finalize that plan and the agreement, get signatures from all the parties, and then move forward with the construction. The construction for the drainage will be outside of the road. So Black Forest Road, once it's paved and open, it'll stay open. So So we're looking at another couple weeks with that closure in place. They made pretty good progress the last couple of weeks on the road grading of it, the ditches, all the water and sewer is done now. And so now they're focusing on the ditches, getting the road ready to pave, and then that's really it, minus the couple drainage things that'll still go through, so.
So basically, when this started, the original plats came in, we pulled them off the agenda because we were having issues with the drainage and just some stuff. So we opted at the time to, let's get this figured out before we have a plat in front of you. And so that's why we do have the new drainage plan in there. It's not really new, it's still following it, but there needed to be some additional stuff done to mitigate drainage. And so that's where we're at with it. I do know this particular lot, since it is along the Rochford Road side, I don't think, well, John didn't have any concern with the plat itself. It's just making sure they keep working on getting the road done, getting the drainage done. I don't think this is any different than anything else. They have a bond in place. They have all of those things that are already there, but we wanted to remind them that we needed to keep moving forward on it, not letting it sit for any longer. So I do feel like they're moving along a lot better now. And then if this plat gets approved, the next question is going to be the development plan is going to be coming in for this. And basically they're looking at kind of large shop storage buildings. Not storage like the little ones, like big shops that people can pull their campers into and that kind of thing for storage. So they can get them in there. It's a phenomenon that we've seen across. We're seeing more and more of this, just not in our county as much. I've seen it in other places. So we already did have the person that wants to develop that has done some preliminary work. So because we didn't really know how to treat the buildings. They're not residential, but they're not fully commercial either because they're still going to sell them individually. So we're still working on that, but that's going to be part of the development plan. And I don't feel that that development plan can really be approved till we have an access. Right now it's a closed access. You can't get to it. So that's where it's at. Anything else? Does that work?
Mr. Chairman, once issues were identified, they were very responsive in meeting with us within a day or two. We were out there on site coming up with solutions for things. And I think I've been keeping Amber and everybody else up to date, and things have come around quite a ways. John Bates had a question about that road that got cut into down below off of Yellow Creek, right? The cul-de-sac, did that ever get worked out?
Yep. Yeah, that was down on Inglewood. Yep, there was an access of Inglewood that the CID's building, the booster station was there. There was an access that was cut in, so that got removed.
Yep, very responsive to all the concerns so far.
We appreciate that.
Okay, so this is what we're looking for today is a recommendation of approval for the final plat with the understanding that the plat is a standalone document and any proposed use of the property will be required to have an approved development plan. Until then, it's used as residential because we don't have anything else in place to be commercial.
Okay.
I don't usually put conditions on it, but that is a condition I would request.
Anybody have any other discussion about that? Or we make a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, number 14, amended preliminary plat for Black Hills Properties. 2025-53, correct?
This one is just an amendment, same thing. We had an old preliminary. What we've been doing with these is anytime there's an amendment, we ask that they're in red so that we can keep track of what the change was from meeting to meeting. So basically it's right in here. This would be directly behind that lot 3 that we just talked about. It's right behind that. So this is the amended preliminary for that.
Okay.
Still meets all the requirements. It's just changing some lot lines and adding some things.
Move to approve the amendment.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Preliminary and final plat for SF Group
54, Amber.
Kevin, do you want to come up? He's like, no, you got yelled at already. It's okay. So this one is a preliminary and final plat for the SF Group LLC. Subdivision has an HOA, community water system is in place, individual septic system. The owner is doing a lot line revision, keeping the two lots, but changing the lot line from east to west. From east to west, north to south. Yes, that's right. East to west, north to south. Lot acreages are not changing. The lot 24 is gonna go 2.682 to 2.532. And lot 25 is gonna go 3.405 to 3.555. There was an issue when the preliminary plat came in, so he built a house on it. Preliminary plat came in and the structure does not meet the setback because he decided to cover a porch that was not included in the original plans. So now the plat is one thing, we can approve the plat because we kind of have to know that because we needed to know where the structure sat anyways, so we had to have it surveyed. But he will then be actively seeking a variance on that structure. It's a brand new structure.
Is there any way we can move the lot line to make it not have to do that?
I would love to.
There's a road right there.
There's a road there. This is on Alex Circle. The existing lot 24 has two build sites, one up on and one on the top. So the plan was always to split it because you can't build down in that bottom area. I built a 28 by 38 two-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, house, and put a 5-foot covered porch on. Most of the porch meets the setback, if I may.
I have it up here, yeah.
It cuts from about here to here into the setback because of the curve of the road that I didn't take into consideration. And so that'll be forthcoming at your next meeting.
So it's on this site plan here. We had them survey it. And basically here's the curve. So it's the curve of the, the radius in there. This is where it's this little tiny piece right here.
That inside shows the gold line.
That inside shows that corner.
And it's about a foot to a foot and a half by about 10 foot that
So he
comes in
meets
because
it.
of the radius. It'll only be the only house on that cul-de-sac.
Okay, so this lot line change doesn't change that at all, though?
No.
No, that's why we found the lot line was one thing, because instead of going this way, it's going this way.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect it at all, because no matter what, he can't change the lot. That's what we were hoping, but we couldn't do it because it's the radius of the road that actually is causing the issue on the corner of the covered patio. So it's not the structure. The structure of the house is fine. Normally, our setbacks state to the wall of the structure and or a covered patio. So it's because he covered it that it's causing the issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If it wouldn't have been covered and it was just a concrete or piece, it wouldn't matter because it's not, the setback isn't. It's just because that covering is attached to the structure of the house.
The corner of the house must be right on the line.
It is. Like, right
The
on.
corner of
Of the actual house.
Of the house.
Yep.
The house must be on the setback. Right
No,
now, it's not
the
but
porch
it's right
is
there.
on the setback line except for about a foot.
There's a bigger version on the left that's easier.
Yeah, you can kind of see it right here. I don't know if I
Yeah,
can
you're
pull it
right,
up
kind
more.
of see it.
Yeah.
There you go, thank you.
This is the insert of it.
So
the yellow is the setbacks per the county. So you can see it like there, this would be the corner of the house.
Yeah, so it's right on the
It's
line.
the covered that causes the issue.
Yep.
The green area is the setback of the covenants. Well, the covenants I don't control. That's between him and his HOA. We're just concerned about the county, the yellow line, not the green line. So it's literally, you can kind of see it. It's the covering. So
about 12 feet of the covering by about a sliver from 0 to a foot. Because that's a 5 foot.
So,
I'll be back next month.
so the first thing is you're approving the plat. The plat doesn't matter, the structure's there. So then the next thing would be he's gonna have to apply for a variance to try to get that. If he goes through the variance process, then you guys can decide if you're gonna make him tear down the covered porch or not.
I'll move to approve the lot change, lot line change.
Second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then we're gonna do both.
You have a preliminary and a final vote.
That was preliminary.
Move to approve final.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 16.
This is a lot line revision. Doing this will divide the tracks along the road, property zone park forest. The revision would be 6.870 and 3.918. The access, 24-foot access to lot 2 is in the process of getting the access agreement signed by the adjacent landowners. Fire plan is exempt because it's a lot line revision. So staff recommends approval of the preliminary and final with the condition that the plat not be recorded until the access agreement for lot 2 has been recorded, which we've done in the past. That way we can record them simultaneously.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the exemption part?
Move to approve the preliminary plat.
We gotta do exemption first.
I'm sorry?
We gotta do
Motion on exemption.
Yeah, we need a motion on the exemption.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay,
Now,
plat is exempt and now the preliminary.
preliminary plat. Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And the final plat.
Move to approve final plat.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, number 17.
Okay, this is for the Tinnell. The owners are wanting to subdivide the tract for their daughter to have a parcel zoned ag. Does not allow one residence on it with a 40-acre minimum. Both of the new tract will exceed the 40 acres with the way that they're replatting them. Currently, the property is serviced by water, well, and septic. There's a utility building on the property, but no other improvements. Tract C2 will be 76.83 acres and have an access point to the south, which leads to the utility building. Tract C1 will have 50 acres and is showing an access point off of Wiseman Road. There is no improvements or infrastructure on the lot currently. The fire mitigation plan, since the time of this, we did get it. So there is nothing that needs to be done on the property. It's fine.
Motion to approve the preliminary and the final.
Second.
Discussion?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
He's not paying attention.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I heard it.
This is late.
You gotta slip one in once.
Yeah. Okay, number 18.
Okay. This is for Security Storage and Properties LLC. Reed is here. You guys can come on up if you want to. We have a preliminary plat. You did see a layout plan of this 2 months ago. I think we already did this. And then this is the preliminary moving forward. The owner is subdividing the property into 17 lots. Property zone suburban residential. Density requirement in the lots is the 0.84 acres or 8,000 square feet, as long as the utilities can get to the lot. So they have to have city water, city sewer, basically. The lots will average 0.659 acres apiece. There has been an agreement reached with the Apple Springs Sanitary District to provide water and septic through the HGO Clear Solutions LLC. That was attached to your packets. There are outbuilding on lots 9 through 11 that the owner has indicated have been sold and will be removed by September 1st-ish, somewhere in there. There still remains the issue with the warranty deed. This was brought up before, and I know they're in the process of fixing it, but we don't want it to go unnoticed. It's not really an issue for us, but when they come to chain a title, when they're trying to sell these lots, it could be an issue. So we've just notified them that it needs to be fixed, and they have to work with Sodak Title to do that. They're looking at doing a surveyor's affidavit of correction, which is normal. We see them quite often. They just got to get it fixed. The Register of Deeds and Equalization said they don't have an issue with the current legal ownership because it has been done that way, but it's just one of those things. If it just keeps getting deeded, we're going to have issues. So try to get it fixed. The as-built road designs have been put in the plan. The initial plans were submitted to the County Highway Department, John Bay, for review on May 14th, with an updated design sent on July 16th. And the highway report was attached to your packets. Mike Carlson with South Dakota DOT was contacted about the highway traffic and access. He stated that the left-hand turn onto Wildburger Road from 14A is the only improvement and no further changes would be made at this time. The fire mitigation plan is in place, and did you finish it? I don't remember if this one had it finished, right? Okay, so yeah, I knew he was in the process, but we got that one as well. So the conditions that were placed on this was that staff recommended approval of the preliminary with the following conditions. The documentation of the removal of the outbuildings located on 9 through 11 is completed by September 1st. And the title issue is resolved with the legal description before we have other deeds, being transferred with the wrong legal. And then the reason why she specified that outbuildings is because we don't want to have a lot get sold and there's an outbuilding, that it's in between lot lines or whatever. We just want to make sure it's cleaned up. So with that, there's a lot of information in here for you guys to go through. There was the layouts, the road profiles, the Hidden Pines document that highway superintendent put together. He does have some things in there, of what he's liking to see. There was a letter from Montana Dakota Utilities, basically just saying that they'll provide service, ultimately. There is a letter in here from Mike Short. That was the May one. I think you guys had seen this one back before. And then there's also a copy now of the access and utility agreement that has been signed by Mike Short and the owner. That was in here. We had some letters too that had come in regarding this one, and we did submit those as well. So Dan Carlson had submitted some stuff the meeting before and provided that as well. So those are all in here as well. I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, Dan Carlson, Chris Finich, John Miller. There's a letter in there. Beverly Rosenboom, Jim Smith, Tim and Ellen Brown, Clint Hall. He was, I don't know if he's still online or not. He was on there, but Clint Hall. Yep, Clint Hall. So those were letters that they, they still have concerns with the development, but they provided those letters to you as well. And there is a few people here that stayed all day to talk about this. So, applicants here, there are engineers here. If you have questions.
I do. Bruce, have you looked through all this stuff?
The Mike Short stuff?
Mike Short stuff. Yeah, the joining of the district and all that.
I did. I looked at it, and from that standpoint, it looks fine. Of course, they do have a sanitary district out there, and it's complicated. And I can't speak for how all that works out, right? But from what I saw, it looked like the developers, the owners, have an agreement to supply water and sewer to the property, arguably, right?
It says willingness.
Yeah.
unless there's a formal confirmation, our willingness to provide water and sewer. Can he do it with the district and with the folks, homeowners?
That's really complicated.
Well, I'm not smart enough to analyze it.
Yeah. And, well,
I'm all for the development. I think it's a nice looking development and it should go there. However, where are we at on that? We okay with approving the preliminary plat?
My thought when we were looking at it is it looks to me like they have sufficient documentation to go forward. I would rely on the sanitary district to interject why they don't, to explain why. And so I had to go back. So I think, how does it work out? So Mike owns the waterworks and supplies the water, right? There's a sanitary district, but Mike owns the infrastructure, I think. And they've been talking for quite a while about transferring the infrastructure, at least from the sanitary district or the sewer to the district. They've never been able to work that out. And so I don't know, hopefully I'm saying that all correctly. I'm sure someone would correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. So that's the best I can say. Amy did bring it to my attention and I reviewed it.
Yeah, I think that the issue I have, and I mean, I've had discussions with Reed. I think the question is, when is the point that I'm not going to issue a building permit? That's how I look at it. He wants to put all the money into it and he wants to put the road. I mean, I can't stop him because he meets the requirements of that. But I think ultimately what it comes down to, if I go to issue a building permit on a house and he can't actually have water and sewer to it, he's not going to get a building permit. So it's his due diligence is going to have to be taken to deal with that issue. That's my take on it. The plat is one thing. The plat is a plat. If he's willing to chance that when there's still some maybe legal stuff that needs to take place, I don't think that's the county's concern with it. The plat meets the requirement as long as he has water and sewer. If for some point he has no water or sewer, the plat is no good.
So under this zoning, is part of the requirements is that there's water and sewer?
Yeah, because of the suburban residential zoning, because he is requesting the small lot sizes, the 1 acre and less, he has to have water and sewer.
So isn't that our responsibility to make sure that he does have water?
It's a legal part. I won't issue a building permit on it and the plat would be no good.
Yeah.
So that's your guys' call to determine if you are willing to approve. Because the plat isn't really do you know what I mean? The plat meets the requirements. It's the right density, it's the right size, the roads are okay.
The only question is there water?
It's water and sewer.
Yeah, water and sewer.
Yep.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, so ultimately, I guess the deal is if there's not, then there's not. You have a plat that you can get building permits for or occupancy permits because there aren't the proper utilities. So I guess that's kind of how I was looking at it. It might catch up later on, but for right now, it looks like ostensibly they have the right to have water and sewer.
Does this prohibit them from selling these lots and then we're dealing with 15 different people who can't get building permits because they can't get water and sewer?
Yes.
That's what I'm wondering.
We're just doing the preliminary though.
Yeah, we're not doing the final. So they wouldn't be able to sell them.
I would say you're not going to issue a final plat unless either the sewer and water is bonded or it's completed. That's the normal process, is a final
Without
plat
final
would not
plat, they
be
can't sell it.
allowed to go through.
Preliminary plat would be okay then?
I think so.
That's up to the board to decide because
Understood.
plats aren't usually a public hearing.
I would defer to the realtor on this, but I would assume that if there's not water and sewer, if they're selling lots, there's have to be some disclosures involved in that, right? Or they would be.
Depends on the realtor you're dealing with.
Yeah. Right? So I mean, it seems to me like all that is going to catch up at some point.
And also,
Yeah, you could show people this document as a realtor and they'd be, oh, wow, perfect.
There's a willingness.
It says willingness.
yeah,
not-
somebody could,
Oh,
yeah. No,
Travis, you do have a few people in the audience that asked if they can talk.
Okay, go for it.
Please identify yourself too.
Yeah, say your name and your address and.
Yeah, mine are mostly questions because when there's lack of information, people fill in their own blanks. So I'm just here to clarify. My name is Beverly Rosenbaum, 20708 Lincoln Court, Sturgis, South Dakota. I'm a resident of Boulder Canyon subdivision, have been for 17 years. When all the documentation for this meeting came out, I focused on the staff report. And what caught my eye first was at the bottom where it said the owner is subdividing this property into 17 lots. Property is zoned SRD. Density requirement is lots over 0.18. As long as utilities, these lots will average 0.659. Earlier in the day, the gentleman on the end there made a good statement. You know, sure, we're all for owner rights, but the reason they're zoning is so if we own property, we know what to expect as far as what's going to happen around us. So I had already gone on your website and I had found this grid that says general requirements for all zoning districts. And I looked up SRD and it said that they need to be 2 acres, but I did read where there's an exception to 1 acre if there's access to water and sewer. Where's the exception that drops it down
If
to?
you look at the regulations, that's just a quick guide. If you look at the regulations, it's actually down to 8,000 square feet, as long as they have water.
And that says it where?
In the suburban residential zoning district, the whole thing. You just did a snippet of it, it's the whole exact, the whole thing.
I haven't read through the whole thing. I thought
No,
I did.
it's under the suburban residential zoning district and it talks about it. It's right down in here.
Okay.
Right down in here. You go down to 8,000 square feet if you have a public water and central sewer system.
So why do you say it's 2 acres or 1 acre if you
2
have
acres.
water and sewer, but then you say, but it's okay to go half acre? I mean, why don't you just say that?
2 acres, you have to have a septic system and an individual well. Anything less than that, you have to have water and sewer.
Okay.
You can go down to 8,000 square feet
With water and sewer.
with water and sewer. It does say that.
Community water.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, document number 1, the preliminary plats. My question is, will Hidden Rock Road and Hidden Pines Drive be hard surface or gravel? So
We don't require asphalt. That's only up to the subdivision.
So all the gravel and all the mud and the muck gets to come out onto the road that we're already dealing with, the property across the road from there. That's a concern. And also I noticed the fire chief guy in his report, said, make sure that you have a winter maintenance plan for fire apparatus access. Do you really feel that a gravel road in spring, when the roads are sloppy and mucky and messy, that's going to provide adequate road in case of a fire emergency? That would be a concern I would have. Document number 3, Hidden Pines sub as builds and water plan. Under the general notes, number 9 says that a pavement sweeping broom shall stay on site and be available at all times to ensure mud and debris are not deposited on the road. And then it says that it's subject to the opinion of the engineer. Who's the engineer that makes that call? So in your opinion, you get to decide what debris is on the road and when it should be dealt with.
The Wild River Road is a highway road. Our highway department will determine when they have to do that.
Well, it says it's subject
No,
to. the
you're
opinion-
looking at the plan that they submitted. The highway department has to do more.
Okay.
That won't be here. That's a separate.
So if there's debris on the road, if there's mud and muck and gravel on the road, who
The
makes
highway
the call?
department will make
We
that
call John Bay.
Yep.
We can call John Bay.
Yep.
Okay. And he'll ensure that it gets done.
He will deal with it as he deems necessary.
Okay.
There will be asphalt up to Wild River Road from our approach.
Yeah, after talking with John Bay and
Yeah,
making a
that's
revision.
one of the stipulations of the approaches, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you're still bringing a lot of mud, muck, and debris with you to the approaches. It doesn't just disappear when you get to the approach. I mean, go.
Okay, we're not
yeah,
gonna
it is
have
a
the back
matter-
and forth. She can ask the questions and then we'll go back to it.
And I live there. I've seen what's coming from the east side of the road onto the road that doesn't get taken care of, so. Okay, number 18, it says damage to existing pavement, roads, et cetera, shall be repaired by the contractor at no cost to the owner. I'm assuming the county is the owner.
Wildberger Road.
Wildberger Road, so the contractor would be responsible for any damage to Wildberger Road.
If John decides that's the case, yes, if he determines
And
that.
so he enforces that.
He will enforce
would make
anything
the
that takes place
determination.
on Wildberger Road.
Document number 5 says county highway report, and Mr. Bay submitted a nice report here. It even has pictures. This is the mud and the muck we're already referring to. It's documented in the pictures here. It says the conditions to the approach permits may include but are not limited to, talks about culverts, tree removal, and then hard surfacing of the approaches to eliminate tracking of debris onto Wildberger Road. The approaches, 5, maintain a negative grade. Number 6, traffic control signage will be installed at the intersection. The intersection is Stagecoach Trail, where Stagecoach Trail and Wildberger Road intersect, because you're going to create a road into your development. So there's going to be an intersection there. What's that signage going to say? Please
Again,
slow
that's
down.
up to John Bay to determine.
And who's going to enforce it? John Bay.
Yeah, sheriff ultimately.
Pardon?
The sheriff ultimately would enforce it.
On Wildberger Road.
And
Yeah.
who's going to call the sheriff?
That'd be you. Anybody, yep.
Everybody and everybody, and the sheriff's deputies are going to be right there. Okay, all right.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, so I'm not sure enforce what, speed limits would be up to the sheriff's office, but debris on the roads and things, I don't know that that's the sheriff's office. I want to be careful with that.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, speed limits, anything related to traffic like that, yeah.
So what signage would there be?
The signage is probably going to be, if I may, Mr. Chairman, according to the MUDTC, the Uniform Manual on Traffic Control Devices or something like that, you'll know it. And so I think John's recommendations will be in accordance with that, for sight distances, appropriate signage. So they sort of have that figured out. That's not the way an
And then
engineer
a
would
stop
say it.
sign coming out of the subdivision. That's going to be
It'll be all
them
the-
to put in.
All the same requirements that are on the subdivision that you live in.
All right, on the back side of this page, it said a second approach was originally requested at an existing field access. This area has poor sight distance and may create drainage issues. Removal of field approach is a condition of additional approaches. What's that mean? Down in the
There's
bottom there
already,
where
there's already an approach there. He wants that one removed. In order for them to do what they want to do, one of those is going to have to be removed.
where the flooding.
Corral. Yeah, they don't want that
Where
one
the
to be
flooding
used.
occurs. Okay. All right. Page 3, the plans provided indicate water and sewer crossings at the Wildberger Road. If these utilities are to access and exit the development property using Lawrence County right-of-way, permits will be needed to approve to bore under Wildberger Road and occupy the right-of-way. So these permits to bore, you're going to go through under the road, you're not going to affect the road?
They can affect it if the county says they can. And then it would have to be put back how it was.
But there's only one way in and out.
Yeah, so what's
And
the
that's wild.
plan? Are the residents who need Wildberger Road to get in and out of where they live going to be made aware of when these road closures?
Just
and
like
what's-
anything else, if there was a problem, you would know about it. You're gonna know there'd be an alternate, just like there would with anything else. If that road got torn up because the road had to be redone, they're gonna give you an alternate access.
Mr. Chairman,
They work every day.
people do bore permits quite commonly, and it seems to go seamlessly with traffic control, so that roads don't get closed down. Typically, in my experience, I can't guarantee it, but always very mindful of local residents in that regard.
Yeah, it's a normal process that they deal with. Probably on a weekly basis at least.
Okay, document number 5, the fire mitigation plan. The fire chief from Sturgis, I believe, made several fire resistant building recommendations. It's like a page and a half of recommendations. My question to you gentlemen then, will there be covenants in this subdivision to ensure that there's uniformity and understanding of the expectations for those who build there?
So the covenant similar to Apple Springs.
Makes us feel better. Okay, there you go, folks. Okay, document number 14, fire department approval. He emphasized in there that there needs to be a winter maintenance plan so they can get through your division should there be a need. I expressed concern earlier about the fact that you're only thinking about putting a gravel road through there, which just needs slop, basically, at some point in the year. Okay, overall, my questions are to you gentlemen is, at what point is that section of Boulder Canyon going to be saturated enough where another developer from somewhere else comes to where we've lived for 20, 30, 40 years and says, yep, I'm going to shove 17 houses in this little 10 acres here and you can just all drive by it and put up with it. And you're going to keep squeezing more and more and more people into that little section right there. I mean, at what point is enough enough? I talked to a state legislator who expressed the concern in a committee hearing. You know, at some point, committees such as you are going to have to make some decisions about when is enough enough? When are we going to quit chewing up this beautiful green space that we used to have just for developers who can come in from another state and say, we got the money, we're going to chop it up and too much. It's, you take a breath. Anyway, I wish Clint Hall.
Clint had to go to a meeting.
Clint Hall sent you a very nice, Clint Hall has that historical perspective. He's a very reasonable, rational individual. I think one of his points too is, one of his last statements is, even though the current zoning allows development of the proposed hidden pines, can the infrastructure in the area handle that many more lots? And I think he's saying the same thing I am. At what point is enough enough for that little section of the road of Boulder Canyon? Thank you.
Well, Beth, talk a bit about the right hand, the turn lanes. When you're coming up, you said you should come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, you
I'm
can
Kim
speak.
Lauber. I live at 12178 Washington Loop, back in where Beth lives. We came there was 15 houses, no Apple Springs, no, but now it's all there. Fine. There's one road we can choose, and that's Wildberger Road. That's our way in and our way out. It's a single, come on, look. The road is meant for a single car. We have troubles already with oversized vehicles, pickups, whatnot. You need to top of the hill. They're saying that their approach to Wildberger is going to be down here towards the bottom, and it goes like this. So you can't really see. There's a vision problem there. But the road itself is not wide enough. But when you go to turn, right now, I can tell you, in Boulder Canyon, you're coming up and you want to make a right-hand turn. When everybody's coming home from work, let alone the rally, there is no right-hand turn. There's going to be a tremendous amount of traffic.
Already been fatalities there.
Yes, there have been. And so it's a great concern to me. I mean, we ride motorcycles, we go in and out of there all the time. But it's scary because you can't see anymore. If the weeds aren't, turn out the highway from Wildberger. If the weeds haven't been trimmed, or if the snow piles get too high, you have to inch your way out there so you can see. Now, you add more homes there, they may be parked vehicles there, you can't see around them. It's a danger, it's a cancer. And I don't want to see somebody get hurt. And Apple Springs is not all built out yet. There are a lot of lots left there yet, which means more people using the same access to that road. So our concern is a safety thing from a safety standpoint, let alone their water and sewer and how they work that out with Mike Short. They had a lot of trouble with Apple Springs in the beginning. And the concern also would be, like you talked about, snow removal, that's gravel in there. That's just all gonna go out onto Wild River Road. And, then what? And where are the mailboxes gonna be located? What are you gonna do about fire hydrants? What about, schools? Okay.
There is fire hydrants in them.
Okay, and then what about mailboxes? Are they gonna all be right out there on Wild River Road?
We actually don't get to control mailboxes at all,
Post office
so that'll be up to
They
the
don't
post
care.
office to decide where they want them.
So I hope that there isn't a cluster box right out there on Wild River Road, because there's only one anyway. The other thing I wonder about is school bus. Is a school bus gonna come in there and pick up kids? And then we get to sit and wait for a school bus, and if so, if that's gravel, how's that supposed to work very well? School bus.
We have a lot of subdivisions that have gravel, school buses go all over the place on gravel, so that's not really
But where would that one be?
that's up to the school district to decide if they're gonna do a drop off. Right now, it's down the road. I would assume they're not gonna change it.
Yeah.
Usually they don't change them. Usually they stay the same. The kids go to the school bus, not the school bus come to the
Yeah,
kids.
they're gonna have to drive, then they're gonna have to make right-hand turns too, so there's gonna have to be some sort of turn lane.
Keep in mind the DOT controls that access. We have no say.
Okay. But it's,
Yeah, but we've talked to the DOT. The DOT says right now you are not at the threshold.
what is it?
That's up to the DOT to decide. I can't say it. I can tell you they said there is not a
The number
threshold.
of accidents that occur.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Kevin Carlin, 12178 Washington. I understand, that we don't own the land. It can be bought, it can be developed, it can do whatever. But my biggest concern about it is I would invite you guys to go out, sit on Wildberger, try it right now during the rally, you'll really experience it, and try to make a left-hand turn going down Sturgis. When you're sitting in a car, if I personally don't go out and weed eat that ditch, you cannot see the cars coming up. The profile of the road, when you're coming up from the golf course direction past Apple Springs, a car will disappear in your sight, and then all of a sudden it is right there. A motorcycle disappears in your sight. It doesn't look like it. The road looks like it's nice and flat, but it's not. You sit in a car at that intersection on Wildberger and try to make a left-hand turn and look at the traffic coming. And I'm just worried that we're going to have teenage kids. It's going to be a smaller housing development. It's going to be a lower cost than what's already there. It's a concern of mine right now. I personally go out and weed eat that so that people can see as much as you possibly can. And a pickup, it's not so bad, but you start getting kids in cars, they're sitting lower, you cannot see, they're on you right now. Another person is going to get killed there. That's all there is to it. It's going to happen again. So that's my input.
Okay, thank you.
Sherry Meidinger, thanks again for allowing me to come and speak. Yeah, we've been here since 1:15. Sherry Meidinger, 12130 Washington Loop Road, the Boulder Canyon subdivision that when I spoke in June, I got the feeling that people didn't know about us back there. I represent, I'm the HOA president, represent the 54 lot owners up there. So I'm wondering if since early June when I came and visited with you gentlemen then, if any of you have actually physically visited our area like Mr. Carlin was talking about, have you actually come out and looked at that whole area? Have you driven Wildberger Road down to Washington Loop Road? I'm just very curious if in the last 2 months you've had that opportunity to actually physically see that. There's a difference in physically seeing it and looking at stuff on paper. So have any of you had that opportunity to do that?
Absolutely. Yep. Yes, I have.
I haven't. I have not.
But I've been out there.
To look this, okay, on Wildberger, okay.
Washington Loop.
On Washington Loop, okay. We are all very curious in our subdivision of the price range of the homes because this subdivision is coming into basically $1 million home area. So Boulder Park homes are priced at that. We've got one in our subdivision priced at 1.4, 1.5. I think new builds going into Apple Springs are at the 1.8 million mark and going on up. So we're very curious of what type of home build will it be? Is it going to be stick? Is it going to be modular? Is it going to be mobiles? what is the size? I mean, in our subdivision, new homes have to be a minimum of 1,500 square feet. That does not count the garage. And so that is a big concern of ours because that's a lot, that's millions and millions of dollars of property values out there that can be affected based on what is going to be coming in up the road. The gentleman did answer the question about covenants. Will there be an architectural control committee in place in this subdivision so that, is it gonna be just a hodgepodge of things? Is it anything goes? Because we're gonna have another subdivision coming into Boulder Canyon. Surely you all and the rest of us would want it to be nice, not just a hodgepodge of things. Curious about the 4-day traffic count that was done, and you have the report in there. I'm wondering if that was really sufficient. So that was done a couple weeks ago, and I know in my subdivision, a lot of people were gone during that time. So I'm just kind of wondering if maybe we could have another traffic count that would be, maybe go a week, covering, you know, Sunday through Saturday, and see if those numbers change much. Since none of us in Boulder Park, Boulder Canyon, or the Apple Springs subdivisions received any notifications from the county or anybody with regards to this proposed subdivision, we found out about it just kind of word of mouth and maybe some sneaky been relayed. Is this standard protocol? I'm just wondering if this is standard protocol,
Yes.
Because we were asked.
It is standard protocol.
That we not notified?
No, we don't have to notify you because the zoning allows it.
It's
It's not a change of zoning, it's not
Okay.
anything, the zoning
Okay.
allows it.
Okay.
So it's just, that's why all of the stuff is public. It has been out there, the agendas, so a lot of people
Okay,
will
so we
go
have to
online.
search for it.
You just have to go to the website and it's always on
Right.
there. You can also, there's a notification option on our website that a lot of people do opt to do.
Okay.
What year did
And-
that?
And you can just click on it and it'll send
This
you
is
an email.
before,
What?
this is before their subdivision. This was zoned suburban residential prior to your subdivision.
Correct, it was.
Yeah, what year was this zone
I didn't even go back.
So it's been like that.
That's
for a long
interesting. Mr.
time.
Nelson was told all along that his subdivision, that his 11 acres was agriculture, that was zoned
He was
agriculture.
paying ag status on it for taxes because he was providing a service. He was paying it, he
Yeah,
was
he was
doing
paying,
stuff to
Yep,
it.
had his
So he
mark.
had ag status for his taxation. He
Okay.
never asked me about zoning. Zoning and ag status is different.
Okay, all right.
In the letter submitted to you from Clint Hall, he addresses that. He says at some point, when he moved there in 2002, he purchased the property that he lives in. It was then zoned park forest. Then at some point in 2003, the park forest zoning was changed to suburban residential.
Do we have a way to look that up here, what year that was?
He probably was, well, the only time it would have happened is when the, it would have been change of zoning 250. I can tell you that much is probably when it was. So that would have been
Unfortunately,
2000.
it really doesn't matter. They got it zoned suburban residential. The highway department says that it can handle that traffic coming off of Wildberger. I fully understand your concern on view. I agree with you. This highway department's the one that has control. We can't tell them to do anything with their roads. DOT. And eventually they're gonna have to put a light there because you're right, there's a lot more people coming. But there's not, they have a right, they bought the land, it's zoned suburban residential. They're allowed to put gravel in. We have 300 and some miles of gravel we maintain as a county. And it's sufficient for a lot of people on that, so.
Isn't like 80% of the roads?
They have the right to do what they're doing. You
Can
know,
I bring up just the
Sure.
other things? Okay. I did call, because I was told to call Mike Carlson with South Dakota Transportation. Because we were wondering, well, could there be an access road instead of off of Wildberger? Could there be one in between Wildberger and what's the one into Boulder Park? And he told me no, that the reason it can't be done is because there is the 1,000-foot access spacing. And so at least we knew why that couldn't be done, because that was a concern of ours. So, on the agreement about, so I'll move on to these little things like that lady did, she had it all organized. An agreement has been reached with Apple Springs Sanitary District, which of course you've seen that packet from them. And there were people from Apple Springs that came to the meeting in June, and they let you know that Mr. Short wasn't exactly truthful with you, and they suggested that you gentlemen contact the state to see that you got the proper report. Did any of you happen to contact the state on that, or does that fall onto the developers?
Proper report for what?
The actual factual information with regards to Apple Springs, their H2O, their little LLC.
You need to be more specific, because I don't know what,
Oh,
I have talked to them.
Yeah,
and basically it's not, it's an issue between the sanitary district and H2O Clear Solutions. It's not a county. They need to figure out their stuff.
Okay, so it's really kind of three, because you have, it's basically now gonna be three groups. It's gonna be our developers here. It's going to be Mike Short, who didn't even let the sanitary district know that he had entered into this agreement with these gentlemen here. So, and then the sanitary district themselves, and I read their letter and went, wow. And of course, after hearing a couple of the gentlemen speak at the June meeting, it's very clear that not everybody is being truthful on that front. And the one thing we would hate to see, yes, I agree with, if the gentlemen have bought the land and they want to develop it, okay, but at the same token, we sure as heck wouldn't want to see them get taken to the cleaners because someone gave them maybe not exactly truthful and factual information. So anyways, so I guess it's none of our concern who follows up with them, right, for Hidden Pines. We'll let you gentlemen know that by the time you're done building 17 houses, there won't be pines left. So I don't know if you're gonna change the name or not. Approach permits, they've not been approved at this time. What date was that going to happen though? Later on?
Well, that's up to, John will have them fill out the forms
Okay.
and it'll go forward when he is.
And then I think perhaps Mr. Bay, actually, did he insert copy and paste or something? Because on page 3, he's talking about the contractor shall coordinate with the town of Hermosa Water Department. Do you think that was just something that he put in there so people can see that information? Those people already highlighted that. And MDU, they said that they have their natural gas distribution system right there. So I had my question about the state.
Yeah.
Yep, the annexation. Oh yeah, so there's this proposed annexation. So Mr. Short was actually trying to propose being annexed into Sturgis. So I guess we're kind of giving you a little extra information here, gentlemen, that you want to do in your development. That is there any way, because you don't have to answer us because we've come to speak to them. Is that correct, Amber? Kind of like with the people with the quarry?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay, so we can present our questions to them, and if they choose to answer, they can, right? So is it possible instead of 17 houses, of which we don't know the square footage on or what the price tag will be, is it going to be low income, anything like that to affect the $1 million plus properties? And then with the sanitary, is there any way that it can go from 17 houses down to half a dozen? When a bunch of us have met within the subdivision, I've reached out to many of them, didn't we kind of come to agreement that half a dozen homes we felt would be probably proper on this 11 acres? Thinking about the water and sewer. So I don't know if that's a possibility and they get more money for these 6 homes because they're a little more exclusive. So we're wondering if that is something. And simple fact, in the second paragraph of the letter that was sent to Amber here on June 9th, the district was surprised by the proposal as they had had several meetings with Mr. Short and there was no mention of the topic. Gentlemen, I would hope that you would really find that somewhat alarming that the gentleman who's entering into an agreement with you guys isn't even discussing it with his own water and sanitation district. So
that's all up to him.
Yeah, he owns it, so that's up to him. Who he does.
Yeah, but those people all are paying dues and everything, and he doesn't have to answer to them. I mean, they oversee that. So I think that is it. But those are our main concerns is, of course, the whole safety of that road and the type of homes, what their value will be on those. And so we invite you gentlemen to come out there. We'd love to tour you around on Wildburger Road, especially now
all the time, so.
during rally. Please come out for rally.
Tonight.
So, and then who do we talk to? We know that any approach coming out onto a county road, when they are building a home there that has to be gravelled. For whatever reason, Mr. Short has chosen to not gravel his section that right when you come onto Wildberger off to the right where he had proposed a campground a year or so ago, right? Yeah, there's trailers there and there is a home that is being built back there. So who do we talk to with regards to that being gravel? Because that has just been nothing but a mud pit.
What do you mean being gravel?
Being gravelled because it's an approach.
The driveway can be gravel, but the
Right, but
approach
it's
is
not.
different.
Yeah, there's no gravel there at all. So it's just.
So if you
nothing
have
but
a
mud
concern
pit.
about the approach, you can see what the approach permit said, because he had to get an approach permit from John Bay.
Okay. With regards to that entrance into.
Yeah, the
Okay.
whole thing doesn't have to be gravel.
Right. Yeah, we would love it if there was just even the first, 30 feet?
Yeah. I would check with John Bay on the
Okay.
approach, because he did get an approach permit.
Okay.
And I don't know what John,
Chairman,
has to do.
and we don't typically, as far as I know, monitor those approaches after they're installed. They're installed to a certain specification and so forth. And so, I mean, she could certainly contact Mr. Bay, but I don't know that he's gonna have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, and that's way above our.
I want to make sure expectations are in line with what I think is my experience.
So basically, like, we hear all your guys' concerns very clearly. But here at this board, our job is to decide if the lots that they're proposing fit within this chunk of ground.
Meet all the requirements.
Yeah, if they meet the requirements, we make we look over all that, we make a recommendation to the county commission on whether it does or not. If we don't think it does, then we say no. If we do think it does, then we say yes. And so those are all really valid concerns, but unfortunately, we don't get to deal with a lot of that stuff at this level. So I don't want it to sound like we don't care, but we don't get to.
So do we go to
That's
the
not part of
county?
your decision.
This will
Right,
go, this will go to the county commission, yes.
So is that where we would voice our concerns once
Yep.
again is with the county
You'll do the
commissioner?
same exact process.
And they won't say, well, you should have brought that up at P and Z.
No.
Okay.
We can approve it, deny it, the county commissioners can do whatever they want. Just a recommendation.
If you do,
Based on whether or not they can get water and sewer, for sure, or that's their.
I mean, that is.
They haven't made a decision yet, and you do have two county commissioners sitting in the room
So
right now.
just so that I understand this correctly, right now, you guys can approve it, and the onus is on their agreements for the building permits to happen. If the water and sewer doesn't come to fruition, there's no building permits gonna happen.
Correct.
That's if I understand this whole thing
Yep.
correctly. That's
We just look at it,
They're
if they
taking the
meet the
risk.
zoning requirements for this
Yeah.
lot
No.
size.
You guys are going,
And
this is the criteria, they meet all of this.
Yep.
That's what our responsibility is next.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think there's
And I
enough
will
concern.
remind the group, Apple Springs did have problems 20 years ago. I have been in this office for 20 years. I know the problems. I can also tell you that the county commissioners did stop all building permits until they figured it out.
Yeah.
So it has been done before. Yeah, they have done it.
It seems to me, I don't know, about the timing of it, but ultimately, if there's no water and sewer, they're not gonna get occupancy permits.
Right.
That's the dead end for sure on that. Maybe they can get building permits, but certainly they can't get occupancy permits. You can't occupy a house that doesn't water and sewer, right? And so, I mean, I don't know how that gets established beforehand. If there's an agreement that's reached, if someone's going to, I'm not suggesting this is a good idea to litigate the issue, but we can't make that determination. They've provided, I think, prima facie evidence that they have the ability to hook up.
Right.
Make sense?
Well, isn't that what happened to that apartment complex just north of Deadwood? Just, as you're heading into Spearfish, isn't that what
City of
happened to that?
Yeah, that's City of Deadwood.
City of Deadwood.
City of Deadwood, but that was not the same situation. Very
Oh,
different.
okay, because I thought they didn't have water.
They have lines, but the lines were not approved to go into
Gotcha,
the city.
okay. Wow.
Yeah.
They got a lot of money in that.
And that has, just so you know, it will be active.
We didn't approve it.
They
It's
did.
our deal.
It will be.
I want to thank all of you for listening.
Starting
I
it.
think you guys-
No,
You have to understand, we don't always know what goes on in the regulations and where you should participate or not.
No.
That's okay.
So that's the reason we're here.
Yep.
And we know
We're
more
here on a
now,
good
you know
day.
more now.
And you've been here all day, so you guys
Yeah.
listen to all of it. I will tell you though, so when you go onto the website, I usually try to tell people this. Everything is public. There is so much information out there.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to find. All you have to do is click on the agenda when it gets posted.
Yeah,
There's
you're
a
a couple
notification
clicks.
option you can sign up for that notification. Every time something is posted for, county commission, fair board, weed board, whatever you want.
Right.
You can get an email notification that says, hey, there's been an agenda posted. Go look at it. All of those agendas are listed. Like it has all of the information that was presented today is on there at least a week prior to, is what I usually do for my office.
So I believe I
Just
was
have to look.
told by Amy that the commissioners meeting is on the 26th.
No, this plat will go before the board next Tuesday, the 12th. There is a county commission meeting on the 26th, but that's
Okay.
not plats.
Okay.
Plats are next Tuesday, the 12th.
So Amber, can I ask you a question? Does it behoove us to go to this meeting on the 12th, or would we be wasting our time going?
I will never tell you one way or another. I can't, because I don't know how these guys are going to
Okay.
vote. I have no idea.
So they're
These
gonna
are
vote
different
this evening.
people.
They're gonna
Well,
vote now.
These guys will, but there's only 2 commissioners here. You have a whole nother set of people that haven't heard this stuff yet. So that's your call.
We never
Say
hear
yes
from
or no.
anybody that doesn't show up.
And you really like these smiling, friendly faces in the audience, right?
Especially after what we just went through.
We were here with you.
Oh, we appreciate what you guys do. I'm not doing it.
Just have a comment to the gentleman. We had trouble with mud stuff getting on Nemo Road from the mines and from there at Estes. The mine paved 50, 75 feet to the Nemo Road, and that really helped a lot. Mud kind of fell off on their entryway instead of on the road. But it can get slick, mud and stuff going on the asphalt. I know the Penlight haulers, if it's rainy and wet, they don't know. Just, I don't know how expensive
You
it is.
gotta remember, people are driving through that.
Excuse
and it
me?
ends up in their garage.
Yeah.
And I'm a working guy. We work hard to pay for our place. We work hard to keep it clean. We work hard to keep everything nice. We spend our entire lives so we have a nice home back there. And all we want is our nice home back there. And we want nice homes around us. That's what we're concerned about.
All right, so regarding the preliminary plat and preliminary plat only at this time, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary plat because it does meet the zoning requirements. I mean, that's what we're looking at here, guys, so.
Yeah, no, totally understood.
And I would recommend that you have a staff recommendation on here with some conditions. Just saying.
We'll start rattling them off and I'll.
Documentation of the removal of the outbuildings located on lots 9 through 11 is completed by September 1st. And the title issue with the legal description on the prior owner's warranty deed, which is now affecting the current owner.
I would like to see those things.
Is September 1st enough time?
Yeah, the property or the outbuildings were auctioned off a month ago, and it was listed in the purchase agreement to the auction house that the building had to be.
A couple of the smaller ones already been removed, it's just, I think there's 2 big ones left.
So were they cabins or?
One was the
Second.
Sheds.
Did you get a second?
Yep.
The motion with the amended
Yep.
staff recommendations.
I follow that motion.
Okay, discussion.
She's got it over there.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Now we have these 2
For the
further
documentation for the outbuilding being removed and the title deed.
Yeah.
I just, before that, before you do this,
Okay.
you guys don't get to leave, we're not done yet.
Yeah, we still got other stuff to do.
We still got these, don't we?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Deb, I'm gonna use the restroom.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe it's the-
You think?
Yeah, I think I left it over here.
Just chew on this.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. You guys just drive up and back?
We came up last night because we
Ready? Development plan.
Hey, Colin Thompson.
Colin Thompson,
here.
so interestingly enough, so Colin, we had a complaint from a neighbor on Whitewood Service Road that they called and asked because there was some glass on the road and it was right on Whitewood Service Road where you turn into this lot. After some stuff, I called Colin, said, Colin, was there a truck that went in there or something that had a bunch of glass in the back of the trailer? Because every once in a while you'd see vehicles in there. I don't think so, but I'll go check. He went over, came, that we think what happened is somebody had a mirror in the back of their car or something, or the truck fell out, so it shattered and there was glass everywhere. He cleaned it up and he said, well, do I need to do something? Like every once in a while, the guy that bought Colin's towing business stores the truck there or whatever, and then when it's ready for the scrap, they grab the trailer and take off, right? So we were talking and I said, well, really, I don't think you have permission to have that in there. And he said, well, should I just do a development plan? I said, yeah, we probably should just to clean it up. So he's had like 3 or 4 trailers sitting in there for quite a while, like white enclosed trailers. They don't really move. They just sit there. He has some storage in them. In and out, there's stuff, and it's basically going from there to the scrapyard, whatever, or somebody else with towing stuff. So it's sort of an impound-ish yard, but there's not really a lot of stuff sitting there. It is zoned industrial already. I think it meets the requirement of storage, because that's all it is. It's outdoor storage. They can't put a structure in there because it's got the arsenic level. But they can't put a structure in there anyways. So it's literally pull a trailer and let it park and go. I talked to Homestake about it. They said, well, he's kind of been doing it. Like, we don't really have a concern as long as he's not digging anything. That was really what it came down to.
So we did approve this for Sunshine Towing, right?
Well,
And then nobody probably even thought about it, that when he sold it, it was for the company.
It was for the company, and then he doesn't own that anymore. So he's kind of using it for that, but he's like, can I keep it more generic, because sometimes I just have a trailer in there or whatever. I don't want to be tied to just that one thing. So it's just storage.
I know we approved it for the towing company. I don't have any issues with it, I guess.
I don't either. So do we need a motion or a?
Recommendation of approval, and then it has to go to public hearing in front of the county commission.
Do we vote on that?
Yeah, you make a recommendation.
Make a recommendation to approve.
Okay. Second. Discussion?
That's with the stipulations too.
Yeah.
Of course, with the considerations.
Yeah. Considerations.
Easiest way to cover this is follow staff's recommendation.
Follow staff's recommendation.
We start doing that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Informational meeting for ordinance 2501.
Great, so, I don't know if planning and zoning already heard it, but county commission did. And the recommendation from county commission was that planning and zoning should look at an ordinance. That's what I'm doing. So we have had this question come up a couple times now for highway service commercial district zone property. We used to have verbiage in there that kind of alluded to food or restaurant, but we actually have a definition for it. So the definition is the state law. So that was pretty easy. So we're requesting that the definition be added for a food service establishment. State law defines it as any fixed restaurant, coffee shop, cafeteria, short order cafe, luncheonette, grill, tea room, sandwich shop, soda fountain, tavern, bar, cocktail lounge, nightclub, roadside stand, catering kitchen, bakery, grocery store, boarding house, or similar place in which food or drink is prepared for sale or service to the public on the premise or elsewhere with or without charge. We would like to add that as an allowed use in food service establishment in highway service commercial zoning district. And then if someone has a highway service commercial zone property, They would do a development plan, so you would know, you know, what's gonna be there, what parking's gonna look like. We have a number of these areas that already are doing it. It's just not in our, we don't have a definition for it, and we don't have it as an allowed use. So it would make my life easier. Thanks, TJ.
So these aren't like food trucks and stuff, these are permanent.
No, this is not food trucks. We do have it, so remember we did that separately in other districts?
So this is like a mobile coffee shop that wants to get.
That's different.
You gotta understand. It's not
This is the key here is a fix. And so Bruce was comfortable because it's already a state definition. It's out of statute. So we just said, well, let's just accept the same statute and then or the same definition. And this will also bring quite a few businesses that are currently happening in that commercial district in compliance.
That's right. I'm surprised we didn't have it before.
Well, I think we just never defined it.
I think we need to tweak it a little bit and make Bruce a little nervous.
No.
No. So I think it will help in both sense. I don't know, the Boondocks property that this kind of came up about, you know, that was a restaurant forever and they tore it down, but I've had a number of people say, well, we'd like to do something and put it back in there. Like, couldn't even allow it, even though it's all commercial. So that's it. So this is just an informational today. We'll go through the regular public hearing and whatnot, the next 2 meetings.
Okay, we don't need any official action.
No, just unless you guys have a concern with the definition that I came up with.
Sounds good.
Have trouble with fixed?
My hot dog stand fit into that?
No,
It's
gotta be
permanent.
fixed. It's gotta be fixed.
Permanent?
Permanent.
Wait a minute. When it comes to financing on a trailer house, fixed can be a cable going down to a hook.
There you go.
We want something on a foundation.
Foundation.
Because it's running off the
Just
generator.
fixed.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean? It's not fixed.
Yep.
That's the normal way to look at it. Okay, am I missing anything else?
Fixed on a foundation. Items from planning and zoning board members.
We're all items now.
Anything else they want to discuss for now?
Yeah, let's get in.
Opportunity for public comment. Bruce, would you like to?
I'm good.
Public's wore out.
Okay, next meeting Thursday, September 4th, 2025, 1:30 PM. And will that be in the new building, Amber?
I don't know yet. I will let you know once we find out, because we have to get permission to be up there.
We're gonna do a dry run on the 26th.
Yeah, we're gonna test it on the 26th.
We get this crowd up there on the 26th.
Up in the big showroom.
You wanna come sit with us?
We have
I'm gonna come and watch. All right, meeting adjourned.
These again, Bruce?
Well, you can have them if you want to. I put one, yeah, if you want to put it in your